Monkey butts.
Monkey butts.
Monkey
butts.
butts. I don't know what this song is, but it sounds good. We're gonna play it.
Monkey butts.
It's called Monkey Butts. Yeah.
Requiem for Monkey Butts.
Ooh.
No.
No.
Not that kind of
Alright.
monkey butts.
That kind of monkey butts. So last time we all met, there were no monkeys, but there were some butts.
A lot of butts.
There were
a lot of butts. Ultimately, your delve into the ruins beneath Tressendor Manor was a success. Not only did you manage to survive, which is always a good thing, you also were able to rescue the surviving members of the Dinjar family, and you also met the wizard, responsible for hiring the Red Brand mercenaries who terrorized Delverton for so many weeks. The wizard had turned out to be Ierno Albrecht, the man Sildar Hawthorne had been looking for, with supposed ties to the Lord's Alliance. Ierno told you all that he hired the Red Brands for protection, and didn't particularly pay attention to their actions while in Delverton. Ierno claimed to be here under the pretenses of finding Gundren, but he would have been here in Delverton long before Gundren went missing. It is more likely that Ierno was searching for Echo, or the Echoing Cave, the cave that Gundren's brothers must have discovered before the dwarf's unexpected disappearance. Ierno went on to explain the history of Phandelver, the ancient city whose ruins Delverton had been built upon, and how it prospered greatly and suddenly after mining a nearby cave of a precious resource, a resource Ierno called Ethereum. Phandelver's prosperity came at a price, though, and it was sacked and pillaged by marauders and monsters. And the cave that brought so much wealth was lost, until the Rockseekers rediscovered it. You were unable to learn why Ierno wished to find this cave, or what he plans to do with the alleged Ethereum hidden within. But before he was able to flee, you were able to glimpse a fragment of its power, producing a small, dime-sized, shimmering mineral. Ierno scratched the strange stone-like object with a long fingernail, causing a sudden flash to blind you all and cause several items in the room to animate and attack. You survived the ambush, but Ierno and your goblin companion Droop had disappeared during the fracas. In the chaos of battle, a fire was started, and you all had to flee the manor basement, but not before being able to collect some evidence from Ierno's chambers. In addition to some treasures and spell scrolls, which I'm hoping you are all keeping track of, because I promise you I am not, you also found a note signed, not with a name, but with a symbol of a thin spider. In case you all did not write down what the note said, I will read it again for you. The note was written in Undercommon, but Hitland was able to translate it for you all. Lord Albrecht, my spies will find the king's hideout, of this I have no doubt. Therefore I refuse your offer. However, my spies have also confirmed the arrival of several strangers to Delverton, who could be working with the dwarf. Capture them if you can, kill them if you must. All that matters is the map. If it is in their possession, deliver it unto me with haste. My messenger will have the details. Do this, and you shall have your audience. Eager to return to Sildar with what it is you all have learned, discovered, and found, made your way out of the basement and started to the road that would eventually wind its way down the hill and back into town. And this is where we begin our session tonight. It's it's getting pretty late in the day. We'll say like 8:30, 9 o'clock. The sun is it was like late dusk as you started your descent, and as the town eventually comes into view, we'll say like the sunlight is pretty much gone, and like the first twinkling stars of night are beginning to shine above you. What all would you like to do?
I think that did the light, the magic that happened from the Ethereum being scratched, does that look similar to the light that Bernie has experienced from her home, like temple? Like, does it look familiar at all to Bernie, or is that a completely new thing?
The light from your experience is like it's like a warming kind of glow almost. It's
Mm.
you know it's like naturally produced from from the flora in your village, right? Which is very unique. And it kind of almost has like a lightning bug,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that kind of like feel to it. And it's a feeling of for you of like, it has like a warmth to it. It has like a welcoming kind of feeling to it, almost not healing, but in that same direction. Like when you get hit with a healing spell of just that, like, ooh, that feels kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
The flash that happened with the Ethereum was like it was jostling
Okay.
and stunning and blinding and disorienting and very negative.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a radiance to like the light from your home, and this felt, if it was like that, it was like 1,000 times more powerful.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Well, I mean, it is late, but do you think we should go back to Sildar as soon as possible, or get some rest? How is everyone doing?
Right. I could definitely use a sleep, but maybe we do go talk to Sildar first.
As you
I
guys
would-
make your way into town, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Ku. You pass one of the first buildings you pass is the Giant Inn, and you can actually see the Dinjar family kind of like walking around inside as several candles have been lit, and there's kind of like a faint glow inside the tavern. You can see Myrna and Naris. Like Naris is kind of like sitting at a table, and Myrna's just kind of like picking up a few chairs and like sweeping up the floor, just like kind of beginning to tidy it up a little bit. And she kind of sees you and just like gives a nod as you make your way into town. Ku, what were you saying?
I think time is of the essence, and we do have a lot to share.
I agree. We should probably
Aye.
head to Sildar first then.
Okay.
Right.
As you make your way into town square, you kind of pass the other inn, whose name is escaping me right now. The Stonehill Inn. Actually, drag you to the map, and you see that there's kind of a crowd that has gathered in the Stonehill Inn here. The lights are on. It's a little bit noisier. A much different scene from last night, which I know it seems like so long ago, but just last night was the day that the Red Brands confronted you all in Townmaster Hall, and left kind of this rippling effect through the town where it just forced everyone to stay indoors. Now people seem a little bit more eager to be out. I think A, from being cooped up all day the day before, but B, also because news has clearly spread that the Red Brands are no longer in town. You also see like a sign that has been posted, kind of like near the shrine, or near like the inn in the town square. That's been like painted, kind of not crudely, but definitely more, just for clarity than for beauty or aesthetic. And it says something along the lines of town meeting tomorrow noon. And like kind of signed by Harbin Webster, the town master. By proclamation of the town master Harbin Webster. We declare a meeting of business regarding the town of Delverton and its folks tomorrow at the square at noon. And some people are kind of talking about that as well, like lingering on the porch of the Stonehill. And a few of them kind of see you, and you see a few glances looking towards you, a few folks pointing, and you get the sense that it's you that the conversation now it has taken the turn to, and that the people of the town rumors are starting to spread of your deeds. You continue on to the townmaster's hall, where you can see glows from the windows, and even though the sun has gone down, it does appear that some clerks are still working. You presume Harbin and Silda are among them. You guys go inside?
I'll knock on the door and then open the door and walk in, yeah.
Okay. You see that there are a few clerks that are still working, scribbling, various notes and details and pieces of parchment. As you hear, like the scratching of quill against parchment as you walk in. You see in the back room, the office that is Harbin's. You can hear, even as you walk in from the front, Sildar and Harbin, discussing their plans for tomorrow's discussion. Mateo, Harbin's assistant, sees you and kind of hurries towards you and, welcome, good to see you all. They're in the back, I'll lead you this way, and begins to take you back into their office. And as you walk in, you see the room is filled with smoke as both Harbin and Harbin and Sildar are both kind of nursing pipes that they are occasionally taking puffs from as they continue their discussion. You hear briefly as you walk in, they're talking about the best place to allocate funds in terms of it's kind of like a friendly debate that's getting slightly impassioned between giving the funds directly back to the people versus investing it into the town in a manner that will have more longevity to it and is less of like a short-term solution. And they're kind of getting into the finer details of that as you sort of interrupt this, and they all turn. And Sildar gets up, wincing in pain still from his wounds from rescuing him from the Goblin Cave that he has not taken any time to heal for. Good to see you. Come in, please. We can finish this another time, Harbin. You made it back from the manor, I see. I pray you have good news for us.
Well, we have news, Lord Hawthorne. And I guess we'll let him know everything that happened, and I'll say, well, you know that we were looking for Yerno, right? It seems that we found him, and he's in league with some unsavory folks, and I'll show him the letter that we found.
Ooh, okay, cool. So you show him the letter with the signature, and you tell him everything that happens. You explain the rescuing of the Dinger family. Do you tell him about Droop, the goblin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Specifically about the different goblin tribes that may come into play.
The Scrap Tops and the Cragmaws.
And the Cragmaws, where the Cragmaws were, the aggressive marauding type, the Tinker goblins.
Tinker Tops, yeah.
Yeah, might be interesting.
He kind of takes that part in. He knows the viciousness of the Cragmaw as well, being a prisoner of theirs.
And we'll also let him know that he did have the Jindrar family trapped and in cells in the
Yeah.
bottom of the.
Right.
Yeah, just let them know
Which
everything.
you do recall from the note you found from the Red Brands to Ierno that seemed to be a Red Brand matter.
Yeah,
Because the note said something along the lines of, "We left the prisoners. Now they're your problem."
yeah.
So it does seem like Ierno, like it seems less like that was something Ierno did and something more that maybe a
The
bunch
Red
of
Brands
like
did.
rowdy, yeah.
Yeah.
But you did tell them Ethereum is, and the last thing, do you tell him about the Ethereum and what he said about Echo Cave?
I'll allude to something a little bit more. I don't want Harbin to know about that one.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Okay. How do you want to allude to that without letting Urban know?
We have some more information about Ierno. I know that it's something that's needed to be kept close to the chest. We'll discuss that a little bit later.
You hear Harbin kind of start to mutter like a bit of protest, and Sildar is able to cut him off. It makes sense, being Lord's Alliance business, that it is a matter that should be dealt with more internally. We can discuss this later. We're almost done here. Harbin, we can meet tomorrow before the meeting. My writer should be here, I imagine, at dawn. In fact, you might want to be here for that. He addresses you all now. The writer that he had sent word for, he expects to arrive pretty early tomorrow. This writer is carrying quite a large sum of gold coin that Sildar intends to use to help with some of the restoration projects in Doverton. Being a member of the Lord's Alliance, this is kind of what they do. It's sort of his philanthropic desires coming from a family that has some power and some wealth. But there's also a good bit of coin that he intends to pay you all as well for all of the services that you've already provided. So I imagine you'll want to get some rest. I know you've all been working very hard, but if you are able to meet them, I think it would behoove you. I'll walk back with you, Harbin. I'll see you in the morning. And he starts to kind of limp. He grabs like a cane that he's borrowed and begins to kind of limp out with you all. And now that you're kind of on the road, walking back towards the Stonehill Inn, you have this moment alone if you wish to tell him more.
Yeah, I'll take a look around because I know that from the note, there are spies around. They should know about the Ethereum already, but any prying ears, I think I'm going to kind of look around, make sure we are truly alone.
Cool. Roll me a perception check.
Perception. That is a natural 20 for a 24, sir.
Nice. You scan around, and Sildar kind of notices you doing this. And you don't see anything. And it appears that, you are safe out here. You can hear like the voices and laughter of like the inn nearby. Otherwise, like the streets and alleys are pretty quiet. It actually just generally feels like you can let your guard down just a little bit. Like there is this air of like, for once, there isn't an immediate threat right around the corner. And Sildar kind of notices you looking around, and he kind of picks up on your anxiousness, and he says, I think for once we might actually be safe. And that's no small thanks to all of you.
It's a forced habit, unfortunately.
As a man who has carried a blade most of his life, I understand all too well. It is troubling what you've told me already about Ierno, but I must say I had some suspicions even before I left Neverwinter. He was a cunning wizard, but maybe too cunning for his own good.
You knew him from before?
Not well, but we had crossed paths once or twice. He had not been with the Lord's Alliance long, but he made some waves, and, well, let's just say some of us were more hopeful than we probably should have been.
Hey.
Well, the reason I wanted to talk to you around with no one around is, do you know about Ethereum and the reason why it was dug up around here?
Ethereum. It's a rumor, a magical element, I think, that's supposed to uh, contain a great deal of raw potential spell energy.
Well, unfortunately, it's no longer a figment of our imaginations.
What do you
And
mean?
Ierno
Aye.
had some and just scratched it with his pinky, and we were flashbanged at this point. Just a huge light spell and blinded us all in a small room, and that's how he was able to escape.
It's unlike anything I've seen before, Sildar. And I come from a place where we respect the light. But this light, it was harsh and it was cold.
Looks at all of you. He is a very capable and powerful wizard. You're sure it wasn't a spell, a trick, an illusion of some kind?
Unfortunately, I was right in front of him when he pulled it out. It was dime-sized, a little rock, looks like a gemstone. Scratched it, and everything went white.
It was incredibly powerful.
He also said something about echoing cave. Does that ring a bell?
Another myth, another fairy tale.
I
Seemed
remember
to-
that growing up was a fairy tale as well.
You're saying he found this Ethereum inside of Echo Cave. The two myths are connected. What do they have to do with Delverton?
He thinks that Gundren and his brothers found it.
The second you say that, his eyes just like go wide. Like it was the last puzzle piece that he needed to like make this whole image make sense to him. And Sildar just like, of course, I'm such an idiot. I should have seen it. Gundren and his brothers, they actually did it. That's why everything's gone to hell so suddenly. If what you're saying is true, then we not only need to find Ierno as quickly as possible, we need to find this cave.
Well, if it's everything that we're thinking, Ierno is probably going to be near or in said cave.
Are there any maps?
It also seemed
Oop, sorry. I heard, are there any maps and something else?
he also seemed to think that Gundren might have been captured by the Goblin King.
The Goblin King. This isn't the first time we've heard mention of that. We have some maps of the surrounding area, but there's not much. And if we go to the Discord, Bernie, we can check. Oh my goodness, I have too many tabs, you guys. I think in-game notes and pics, it's like the third post. We do have like kind of a small map of the region. Now this map calls you Fandolin, but that was like the name of the ancient city. We're called Delverton now. So there's like a side road, like an unnamed road you can take from Delverton back to the Triboard Trail, which will eventually lead back to the High Road, which will eventually take you back to Neverwinter. North of the Triboard Trail is the beginning of the southern end of the Neverwinter Woods. So that's presumably where this goblin bandit is, or this goblin king is is hidden somewhere. So he could pull up. I don't know if you're looking at the same map. If you've
Yeah.
been able to find it,
I got it pulled
Where,
up.
in the Discord.
where is it in the Discord?
It's under in-game notes and pics.
So the one that we had the spider picture in, if you scroll all up,
Yeah.
it's like the third picture
Oh,
in.
cool. Okay, got
I
it.
think I can actually pin the message.
Sweet.
I don't know
That
if
would
that
be
makes
great.
it easier to find.
Yes, that would be perfect.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Hmm.
But and so Neverwinter Woods is like, and this is an approximation. Like, I would honestly say, like, this map is not to scale.
Shot me lost you.
Oh, hold on.
I still got him.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yes.
Dre sounded very robot-y for a second, though.
Yeah.
Can't hear anyone else either.
Oh no.
Yeah. We can hear you, Dre, but you are coming in a little crunchy. If you want to maybe like turn it off and turn it back on again, we can wait a beat. I don't think she heard that. I'm gonna go check on her real quick.
All right.
Oh, I'm so full.
I am so full.
I had so much pizza.
I tweaked my back yesterday working at the lake. So
Oh,
I've been
no.
like in pain for the last 24 hours.
Ooh,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. That sucks.
That's so strange.
It's all good. Oh, sciatica pain. Fuck you, sciatica.
Oh no.
Where's my galaxy? I gotta pick him up. Hang on.
God, I mean, looking at this, if they were in Delverton, it would make me think that possibly it could be in the Sword Mountains down south a little bit further.
The cave.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't want to be this far away, because if it's like in the crags up in the north, you wouldn't want to be this far from it. So we would have just stopped and stayed in Neverwinter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's making me assume it's got to be down here somewhere.
Yeah. So can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at that map, right, like that again, like I don't think this would actually be drawn to scale. I think the Neverwinter Woods, like again, this being a land of like magic and mythology, like you could get lost in the Neverwinter Woods for like weeks and weeks and weeks and like stretch on forever and ever as you like enter a pocket of like the Fey world or some shit. Like so like all of this can be kind of stretched out and played with and tinkered with.
Yeah.
So take the like 5 mile hex squares with a grain of salt.
Okay.
But essentially, you've got Delverton, which is called Phandalin on this map. There are all of these kind of like mountainous and terrain just to the south of you, which looking at this kind of map now, you could surmise that somewhere in there is probably where the Echo Cave was discovered and potentially mined. To the north is the Tribor Trail, which will eventually lead off to the east, which there are even more frontier towns. They'll eventually lead to the town of Tribor, which is a pretty large town. It's no Neverwinter, but it's like a place. It would be like your Mos Eisley, you know, a place of like where a lot of mercenaries and bounty hunters exist, things like that. To the north is Neverwinter Wood, and that is just a massive forest where all types of things and possibilities exist. The hideout where you rescued Sildar, that would have been like just as you kind of entered or beginning to enter the Neverwinter Wood. And as you go deeper and deeper into the Neverwinter Wood, it becomes more and more dangerous.
Gotcha.
Okay.
There we go.
So,
Hey.
Okay.
yeah, we can hear you. So, Doris, I was just explaining that you can look at kind of a map of the region on our Discord.
Oh yeah.
And just explaining about that map that, like, I don't know what you could hear through the walls, but the map's not
Nothing.
necessarily to scale. Okay. The map's not necessarily to scale. You're in, the map calls it Phandalin, but that's our Delvertown. Delverton, Phandalin is the old name. The
Right.
Neverwinter Woods are massive and incredibly dangerous. And the mountainous region to the south of you is presumably where, the miners discovered Echo Cave.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
and
go to
the
the
further
woods.
the
Yeah,
further
Go
right.
to the
to the
woods.
the further to the east you go, the more like uncivilized it becomes, and then to the
Mhm.
west you have the coast, which will eventually take you back to Neverwinter.
Gotcha.
Cool.
But so as you speak with Sildar, you guys kind of like um, just like in the middle of like the square at this point, your intended destination being the Stonehill Inn, but just sort of taking a moment to take all this information in. Uh, Sildar looks at you all. It's like, well, Yerno was able to figure out the location of the Goblin King's castle. We must do the same.
How do we go about even starting that?
Well, we know goblin activity has picked up in Neverwinter Woods. And they've been getting more bolder, and they've been attacking more, merchants and convoys on the road. We could try and make contact with one, take a prisoner and interrogate them. If you could find your missing companion, Drool, or I believe his name was.
Group, yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's
I
close
have
enough.
a feeling he knew more than he was letting on, but we have no way of knowing where he went to. You could also try talking to some of the locals here. Sister Aradel, I'm to understand, takes frequent visits into the woods and seems to know the region. She may know something.
Is she back yet?
She
Last
seems
time we
to
went
be.
over there, she was gone.
She seems to be elusive at best.
Hey.
I saw her a little later this afternoon, sometime after you all ventured up to the manor. So yeah, I presume she's still in town, but I saw her. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 hours ago.
All right.
That
Well,
seems like it
although
would
That
be
might
a
be a
good
place to
place.
start.
I agreed.
either that or getting rest and seeing her maybe at the town hall tomorrow.
It is late. We don't want to.
I'm sure we've been talking
Disrespect
for a few
anyone's-
hours at least. Or at least
I think
an
like
hour.
maybe 30 minutes you've just been standing in the street, but between walking to Townmaster Hall, spending time there, and now this private conversation, it is getting later, like maybe closer to like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
If we want, we can leave her a note and kind of slip it under her door to make sure she knows that we're looking for her if you want to do that. But I don't think calling on her tonight is going to be a great idea.
Who? I don't remember. Did you leave her a note before?
I did, yes.
All right.
So she might be expecting us, but perhaps not at this hour.
Right.
Well, maybe let's try her in the morning.
That sounds like a
agree.
plan.
Right.
Before you all go, this town owes you a debt. They've noticed what you've done here. I imagine you won't be paying for many drinks tonight. So try to get some rest, and I'll see you all in the morning.
You as well, sir. We'll see you tomorrow.
He kind of gives a nod and begins to limp back towards his Townmaster Hall, using his cane. And you guys are free to do what you'd like. You're kind of standing in the middle of the town square. The Stonehill Inn is right behind you. It's still kind of lively. Still seem to be quite a few patrons. A little bit of noise, a little bit of laughter, getting a little bit louder as maybe people have started to have a few more drinks. You can see Sister Ardell's hut and shrine also just kind of across the way. You do see like a faint glow from one of her windows. But otherwise, the town seems pretty quiet.
Well, it's been a long day, but I do like to end with a nice drink. Nightcap.
I
Does
agree.
anybody want to join?
I'll go with you. I think we've earned it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I could have a drink.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds like a good time.
Let me send old Pamela on her way here. So, hey, Sean, when
Yeah.
you see use in spells, that's a cantrip, right? I'm not using a spell slot to do that.
When you see use on your character sheet, it usually is because you have some kind of feature that allows you to do that. But there might be like conditions within that, like you can only do it once per day, or like yada yada yada. So which spell is it?
Once per long rest. Speak with animals.
Okay, so I think you might get that once per long rest because of your subclass
Cool.
without
Uh,
casting a spell slot.
I think I'm going to use that
Okay.
on Pamela for the first time.
Okay.
Hey.
Very cool.
Snaps.
Yeah. Pamela, we're going to go and have a drink now, but got your pick of where you want to sleep tonight. Either end, you've got hay and a place to rest. We'll be back for you in the morning.
Well, I'm reading the spell. You gain the ability to come right up for
10 minutes, too. Holy crap. So you don't even just have to talk to Pamela. You could talk to, like, squirrels and shit.
Caitlin just runs off into the woods. Oh no!
I've become a druid.
She kind of gives like a big yawn. Go to sleep now.
Oh,
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
So adorable.
Okay. Go where?
okay.
You've got a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Oh.
Her little tail starts wagging.
Do I see which direction she's going to? Is she going to the old inn or the new inn?
She's just staring right at you.
Where do you
were
want to send her?
options?
I gave her the pick of the litter, so either
Okay.
the one that she's familiar with or the new one where she betrayed me and didn't go to, with the young boy and the wife.
The mom,
Going to
yeah.
like the new inn or something.
Yeah.
She just kind of like looks down the road and like looks back up at the stables, and then she looks back at you. Where are you sleeping?
Right. I'll be here, right here, in this
Okay.
building. You go there. All right.
I go here.
No, there. Right there. And I'll just point to the old inn.
Why they're not here?
Well, you're a bit big to get in here. You see? That
Her tail
door.
stops wagging.
Aww. See, now you're gonna have her talking back to you. This is what you
Yeah.
get.
Yeah,
Right. So
And
Pamela
we
goes
can't
there,
hear this, right? So like we're
and
just
no,
watching him
you
just
have
talk.
no idea. You're just yep. He's just kind of barking at her.
Cool. Cool.
And so Pamela like looks back towards the old stable, back towards the big red barn, where she's already stayed before. She goes, okay, Pamela sleeps there, and you sleep there.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
with Pamela. You and Pamela sleep
Yeah.
there.
You there? Me here.
Yeah.
And
No.
yeah. Right.
And this goes on for most of the 10 minutes. But you are eventually able to explain to her why she can't sleep at the inn. And reluctantly, she makes her way back to.
Oh, that's so good.
I gotta look it up now.
Oh man, their conversations are gonna be the best.
I know.
Barthen's provisions.
Oh man.
She eventually makes her way back there. Just
Take
like
care of
as
the
she
goats.
like She gets like 10 feet away and just like stops and stares at you like for a good minute.
Oh my god.
Go on then. All right. The
Go on.
goats. The goats need you over there, all right?
And she playfully frolics the rest of the way. And within like a couple of minutes later, you start to hear all the goats waking up. You hear the donkeys start braying excitedly. And then like a light comes on like the top floor of Barthen's Provisions.
I think that whole time Bernie was just standing there and watching and kind of like raised her eyebrows. And after Pamela walks off, she comes out to Kitland and kind of gives him a tilt of the head. When did you learn to do that?
Well, it's weird. It just when we were up at the top of the hill there, I started to get this this feeling that I could connect with her a bit better. But it's new to me. Are you
Hey.
feeling any different?
I'm feeling a little tingly in my fingers, but that could just be because I'm tired. So I'm not sure.
It's spider tingle.
Right.
Either way, that's quite an impressive ability. I only knew that druids could do it, but it seems that you've got a little bit in your blood.
Maybe so, yeah. We'll have to, I don't know, dig in and figure it out, right?
All right, we'll have you turning into Pamela's in no time.
Oh, Pamela.
Talk about a weird sensation.
That's weird. That's weird. Pamela. Yeah. Didn't like how that conversation went. All right.
Speaking of tinglies in your blood, tingling sensations in your blood, Dominic, it's at this time that you just feel your stomach drop. And if anybody is standing within 5 feet of Dominic, you just hear like the loudest like as it just groans with hunger. And you just feel just ravenous, Dominic. Just like you
Maybe
can't
time to get
describe
something
it.
to eat.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, that one hurt. It's I'm for some reason just famished all of a sudden. Oh
Well.
God, let's get in there and get some food.
You've been working hard.
Yeah, good thinking.
All right. You all go inside the Stonehill Inn and Tavern, and even as you like walk up, you can kind of sense the energy and like playfulness. And as you kind of like walk through the saloon doors and enter the tavern, there's kind of like a hey, like a slight hail as you all walk in, and a few like whistles, and some people like start clapping, and you see what's his name, Toblin
Toblin.
Stonehill, well, there they are, the heroes of Delverton, and like with that, like there's another like cheer, and as you guys kind of like walk up to the bar, Toblin's just like laughing, his big like dwarf belly kind of shaking, his cheeks are rosy and red, you can see he's had a few drinks, and it's like, we've all heard about what you did, scaring off the Red Brands and killing their leader and running off the everything. This whole town it owes you a debt. First you're saving Sildar from the goblins, and now you do this favor for us. You bloody heroes. It's what you are. And he's like, puts like all these flagons in front of you and begins like filling them. He's like, tonight, your drinks are on us. And there's just a general sense that the people have heard what you guys have done. The rumors have started to flow. And people are coming up and like shaking your hands and like patting you on the back. Some plates of like stew are put in front of you. You see someone else at another plate, like kind of waves you down. It's like a family. There's like a couple of kids that have stayed up too late that are like hiding underneath bar stools and kind of staring at you and staring at the weapons. on your belt, and you all are starting to feel that sense that like all those stories that you've heard of adventurers, like this must be kind of what they felt like, as you are kind of the cool kids in town right now.
I think that Bernie like really leans into it, and she starts to like, get a little boisterous and drink, and there's mead running down her beard, and she's just going, you should have seen them run, the faces that they had, and she's just really like leaning into the storytelling and getting loud with everybody,
They're
feeling right at home.
absolutely eating it up and like buying you more drinks.
Like Dominic
Right.
probably went straight for a stew and just started just shoveling it into his face, and flagons of mead, just drinking and eating is pretty much it. Just laughing is what he's doing right now.
Nice.
Toblin, I've got a question for you.
No.
He's like
No.
super drunk at this point. Seems like very, very easy to persuade. Big smile ear to ear. Just like puts a big dwarvish paw on your shoulder. Anything you want, lad.
Right. Running a bit low on me grease arrows. Do you mind if I pop a few more in your trap back there?
You can take all your weapons and put them in all my cooking instruments. Come on, you crazy man. He takes you in the back. Man, it's been a busy night. There's a couple of grease traps filled. I'll say if you like really wanted to, you could soak up to like easily 25 arrows in the amount of like grease that's accumulated. But it'll probably take you like a good hour to like set it all up and do it. So you'd have to like miss out on all like everyone else's partying as you just like
Yeah, I do want to party a bit. What?
the rest of the night. You can do it later if you want. It might affect your long rest depending on how late you stay up though.
What if I just like pop 10 in?
I'll say you can do that without missing out on too much of the party.
Okay, cool. I will add 10 arrows in the kitchen.
Caitlin's gone for like 20 minutes, and I think after 20 minutes you're just like, this is boring. I'm gonna go back out there.
Let's cut to Caitlin in the kitchen, silently soaking
arrows. Yeah.
Like you hear Bernie like
Dominic
telling a
will come
story.
in, grab like a raw steak, and then come back out and go, "What?" and then just walk out with it.
Right, Toblin, done with that then. Do you know any drinking games?
Is like one of his eyebrows like goes up a little bit, and he just kind of holds your gaze for a little bit. I might.
Well, would you like to have a go?
You and me.
Sure, if anybody else wants to join.
I'll jump in on that. I think
Hey, I'll take you up on that too.
Who's drinking? He like shouts at the top of his lungs.
Ooh, this will be fun
And-
to watch.
I concur.
Start to gather rounds. All right, so who is all trying to play in this drinking game? We've
No,
got
sir.
Toblin,
Nope. Yeah.
Bernie, Itlins,
Dominic.
Dominic.
Yeah.
Okay. We see you see Mary like gets up at the bar and Toblin just like looks at us like get out of here. Having fun, like storms off. We see Elsa jumps in, the barmaid,
Oh.
who you have seen kind of like walking around and has been very celebratory with all of you guys. An old gnomish miner named Lenar jumps in. And yeah, we'll say that's enough. Alright, cool. So the bar gets kind of quiet as all of you take a seat at the bar. Toblin himself continues to stay at the bar, holding his, bartender publican position. And puts like a small like shot glass in front of each of you and one for himself, and goes to like this top shelf and pours out a nice bottle. Grabs like a really nice bottle of whiskey.
Oh, baby.
And everybody like kind of gets around you. Everybody's kind of been drinking a little bit, and he pours everybody a small pour of whiskey, and grabs his glass and holds it in front of you, and he goes, "It's a real simple drinking game. The last one drinking wins." And with that, he slams the glass on the table and looks at all of you and begins to drink. So this drinking game is basically going to just be a series of Constitution saves until you fail, as they get progressively harder and harder. And then the last one drinking will win tonight's drinking game. This is strong whiskey, and you've all been drinking for a little bit, and you're a little bit tired. So what we're going to do is, for this first roll, you're just going to get a -1 penalty to your Constitution saving throw. The DC for the first drink is 12. So everybody, make your Constitution saves now.
All right.
That's a fail for me.
Domic's out.
Oh no, Bernie and Dominic.
It's a 19 for me.
Of course.
Of course.
So Bernie, you fail. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. Dominic, what'd you get?
I got a 7, my dude. So 6.
A 7?
Yeah, I'm out.
Dominic is out. How'd you do, Caitlin?
19.
Okay. So everybody takes a shot of this, and like instantly, like everyone's like, like coughing and gagging, and like, no more, like tapping out. Bernie, the room starts spinning for you, Dominic. You think you're gonna be sick, and you literally have to just like book it out of the bar to like find a bush to go puke in.
Yep.
And
too much stew.
Yep, and you're just gone. Bernie, the room is spinning. You like get down on the floor, and you just like put your cheek on the floor to try to get the room to stop spinning. Lennar and Elsa like kind of holds it, and then finally like makes a face. He's like, "I'm not doing another one of those. I can't. I'm married. I shouldn't be doing this." And walks away. And Lennar like finishes his. He's like, "It's not bad," and then just like head first into the bar and is passed out.
Holy shit! That's awesome.
No.
Only Kitlin and Toblin remain, and he pours another for you and another for him, and he says,
"Holy shit, dude!
Is you care to make it interesting?"
Right, let me talk to me mate here real quick, and just about finances. I'm gonna walk over to Koo, and
he puts a hand on your shoulder. "I'm not interested in your gold. The loser has to do all the dishes."
right.
Oh no.
Let me consult with me mate Koo. I'm gonna walk over to Koo and stick my hand out to give it a shake. Koo?
Oh, okay.
I will shake his hand. I'm not doing dishes with you.
Right, but could you guide me on how to do dishes?
You're gonna do great. It's wax on, wax off mostly.
Right, okay.
Yeah, he's not
Did
doing
you
that.
just not guide you?
No,
That's
I
amazing.
did. No, and I did. I cast guiding bolts.
Oh, okay. Guidance. Guiding bolt? Did you kill him? What are you doing?
No. Guidance. My goodness. Oh, all right. I have had maybe too many drinks too. So yes.
That would have been
You-
amazing to guide you bolt.
Yeah.
You get a sneaky guidance by shaking hands with Koo. Toblin is way too drunk to notice. And this is just going to be a straight contest. So your Constitution versus mine, you get the D4.
Am I taking -1?
No, if
Okay,
you're both taking
okay.
-1, then it doesn't matter.
Gotcha. All right. Alrighty. Oh boy.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh no!
plus a D4.
No. Ah!
Oh.
Looks like Kitlin's doing dishes.
Yeah.
You both finish your drink and like slam the drink down and just like hold eye contact. And like neither one of you like refusing to make a face. Both of your lips like start to quiver a little bit. It's like first to kind of break, like it turns into this weird like devolved like staring contest between the two of you. And eventually, Kitlin, you just like half a second before him make the face squinch up and like do like the thing where you shake your hands in your face really quick, and like start to double over, making Toblin the decisive winner in the drinking contest as he pours himself a third drink and downs it before just like falling over backwards.
Fucking
And
madman.
you just hear Trelana go, jeez, Toblin, by the gods, dumb oaf, and is like trying to like slap his face to wake him back up. He's like, I don't have to do the dishes. I rolled a 10, man. I rolled terrible.
Wow.
wow.
It's by the rules of honor and engagement of the drinking game, the dishes are now your responsibility, Kitlin, tomorrow morning.
All right.
Damn.
But the bottle of whiskey has just been left out. It's a really nice bottle. There's about half of it left.
No, thank you.
It's at this point that the party kind of like erupts again as like that being like kind of the peak entertainment. Everybody kind of like finishes their drinks. You know, everybody's kind of tipsy at this point. One by one, they start peeling off and begin making their way home.
I think as that was happening, Staris and Ku, I feel like we're just like laughing at everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
But Staris is kind of feeling she wants to make music and like in this environment, but she's like missing an arm right now.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think she's convincing Ku to see if he can like figure out playing this dulcimer with her.
Nice.
So because I think we can both put on the lap. And then if you do this and I do this, so if Ku is agreeable, I think that's what they were doing. Is all this is going on too,
That's
to try to
funny.
like get a little jig going.
Let's get it going.
Let's get jiggy
Nice.
with it.
Okay. You kind of spends some time. You find like a quiet little corner to show Ku your dulcimer and how to play it, and kind of teach him. Ku, are you proficient with any musical instruments?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so like please say no, please say no.
So this is going to be like a combined check for the two of you.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a really high DC, but it's going to be both of your numbers added together. So Staris, I want you to give me we're going to say a persuasion check, because you're trying to kind of share this information with Ku. And Ku, I want a performance check from you as you're attempting to actually perform what Staris is trying to teach you.
That is an 18.
Nice.
Okay.
That is an
Damn.
Oh, right,
no.
because of your subclass, Staris?
Yeah, silver tongue. Holy shit, dude.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was an 18 on a natural 1, I believe.
Yeah.
There was.
Jesus.
There was.
Oh,
I also took expertise in
In
persuasion.
persuasion.
so.
Damn. Yeah, +8. Holy shit, Staris. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So an 18 is the lowest you can roll for something.
That's
Wow.
ridiculous. I love it. Guess who's the face of
Um,
our party now?
Yeah, exactly.
Hi.
It's me.
Dulcimer is a tricky instrument to start out with. And while I don't think you get to performance level yet, Taurus is a really good teacher. And
she is.
as the night goes on, you're able to at least play like a very simple like phrase that she is able to teach you. You are now proficient in Dulcimer.
Wow.
Nice.
That's
Yay.
awesome.
Well,
Yeah. The DC was 25, by the way. So that was mostly Saurus.
yeah, no, all of Saurus.
That's awesome.
Ah,
Dude, 18.
That was insane.
That's bananas.
that's
That's awesome.
And Ku could at least play enough to accompany a song, like as he kind of just repeats like a few chords and keeps the rhythm. And much like this lesson, your voice would be doing most of the work, but it would be just enough of like an accompaniment to add a nice like, element to the song.
Saurus. It's almost like I could feel you like guiding me in my
Well, you
mind.
picked it up quickly.
Hmm.
Do you want to sing for the crowd?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Just,
Roll me another performance check with advantage, since Ku is providing some accompaniment.
you got it.
Nice.
19.
19.
Awesome.
So good.
Quite a few people tip you in silver pieces. And by the end of the song, you've made 4 gold.
Damn. Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. You've been a lovely audience.
Once again, Saurus performs, and it captivates everybody in the room. She transforms any space she's in into a stage as dancing lights come out of her and cast like cool purplish glows. The entire room just gets quiet as she sings, and her voice, it's just every note, every melody, every word she chooses. Songs just have so much life to them. And by the end of it, people are cheering. Several coins have been kind of tossed onto the table where Stardust is singing as Ku kind of sits in the back and plucks. And at a certain point, while Ku is playing, he plays with the rhythm a little bit. Stardust, you hear, and actually kind of makes it his own, and it's kind of unique. And Ku, something happens as you're playing where you aren't almost even aware of it. Something like possesses you for a moment, and this rhythm just comes out of you as you strum it on the dulcimer, as you just kind of get lost in this moment. And as you come to, it's less of like a sudden realization and more of like a fading into focus for you. As the song kind of nears an end, and you kind of have this moment of like, whoa, I just kind of blacked out. What did I do? Did it sound good? Did I mess it up? Like, what happened? And you see a few people are like cheering to you and like cheering you on. You're like, oh, okay, cool. I guess they liked it. But you do have this moment where You feel like as you were playing, something kind of just came over you. But the song ends. People seem to like it. You collect your coin. Dominic, you come back in from puking. The drinking,
Sean, you
the
said
drinking.
4 pieces of gold.
4 gold, yeah, and like
4 gold.
various
All right.
pieces of silver and copper. But there's just so many people here, and there were so many silver and copper coins that when you count it all up, it's like 4 gold pieces that you got.
Gotcha. Star splits it with Ku.
Nice.
I think
2 for you.
Thank you.
Vanity's face is still on the ground, and she's kind of like going in and out of consciousness. And then, as the song ends, she's just yelling and hooting and hollering and saying, "I know them. Those are my friends. We saved this town together." And just being ridiculous.
Bird blows Birdie a kiss.
Birdie like tries to catch it, but then like her arm just kind of like fumbles and falls on the ground next to her.
Like one of the patrons, like that's true. They're traveling together. That's all true.
That's true. That's true.
We all kind of knew that. It's weird that she said that, but that is true. That is a true
It's
statement.
true.
What a night! What a night this has been. What a crazy night this. We'll remember this night for all times. Anyways,
Anyways.
smash cut to the next morning. You're all hungover as shit. Nobody remembers everything.
Totally.
Mary like is waking Kitland up early. Dad says you got to do the dishes.
Right.
Right.
Bernie, you're outside somewhere.
For sure. I'm like curled up on a little patch of grass next to the building.
You're like, yeah, wake up leaning up against a tree. You're like, where am I?
Yeah. Oh. Don't remember getting here last night. Oy.
I think Staris, you made it to bed. Ku, you made it to bed. Dominic, you made it to a hole.
Oh.
That raw meat did not sit well with your stomach at all.
Sweet.
Kitland, you made it to a bed, but you were probably carried there.
So where
and
is
it is a
said
rough-
hole?
You dug it. It's like over here.
Oh, cool. I dug it. I dug
Dug
a
a
hole.
hole.
I was drunk.
Yeah, it's your own hole,
Cool.
dude.
Yeah, you had enough
I'm just
wherewithal.
I'm just back here somewhere in a hole. I peek out of my hole and I see Bernie leaning against a tree, and I just
I
go
like
back in my hole.
Yeah, Bernie just stares at Dominic, doesn't say anything, stands up, and goes inside.
Yep. No.
So yeah, that's literally what happens. You all do get a very abrupt and very brutal long rest. But I'm gonna need a Constitution saving throw from everybody
Let's do the long
as you all
rest.
find consciousness.
Oh God.
Nope.
Everybody?
Everybody, give me a Constitution save.
Everybody. Oh no.
Yeah, that's 21.
Wow, the whole
The whole saved
Right?
my life.
Surprisingly, everyone but Dominic and Hitland have kind of fought off their hangover. Staris, Bernie, and Ku, you all finish your long rest with 1 point of exhaustion.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta
Oh,
save the
boy.
hole. Hell yeah.
Gotta dig a hole.
We gotta dig a hole next time.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie, you want a hole next to mine next time?
I got all those toxins out. That helped a lot.
That's true. I vomited a lot.
You're just in a hole with
Yeah,
vomit.
I'm just in a hole.
Oh no.
Vomits next to the hole. I didn't do it in the hole. That's just ridiculous.
Staris, your arm is feeling a little bit better, but it is still sore as you move it. It has not healed yet. But you have noticed progress.
Okay. Ooh. Well, it's getting better.
However, your injury still stands.
Right. So you won't be playing the lyre anytime soon.
And so is this? Are we near dawn at this point, or is it a couple hours
We'll
after?
say it's like sun's in the sky.
Cool.
It's not noon, but it's not dawn.
Well, miss that
Like
wagon.
10:30.
I think by the time you'd all finally catch up, and Kitlin finishes all the dishes, it's maybe like 10:30 going on 11. It's late morning at this point. I think y'all had a rowdy night.
Cool. Did the grease arrows? Do they need more time in the?
Nah,
in
you
the
can
pot?
add 10 more grease arrows to your inventory.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
And you would remember, Kitlins, that Milo said he needed until
Yes.
about this time tomorrow to finish the prototype.
Cool.
I have not forgotten.
All right. Well, now that Kitlin, you're done with the dishes, you have your arrows. What's the plan? I guess I'll head over to get our payment and see what Sildar wants. Does anybody else want to come with me?
Right, I've got a meeting I've set up for this morning.
Maybe we can see Sister Adara.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yes, we did talk about stepping in on her.
In our long rest, that's when we change our spells, right? And we can all take a long rest now.
Yeah, you've all completed a long rest at this time, so
Okay.
if you need to change up any spells, you can. For rangers, so it depends on each class. Some classes can do it at the end of long rest, and some only get it like when they level up.
I believe Rangers are when they level up.
I'm not sure. I gotta look.
But you're right. I know like clerics and sorcerers, wizards can do it at short rest or long rest, but I think like warlocks
Yeah.
are at levels. Same thing with rangers.
Yeah, when you gain a level in this class, you can choose one of the ranger spells you know and replace it. So yeah, that's when you can change, is when you level up. So let's see. You should get to learn one more spell though, from your level up, Kitlin. So you can add one more spell to the list of spells.
Really?
Yeah.
And if you know how like it says the same thing, but one has legacy and one doesn't. Should we be choosing the legacy one?
I prefer the legacy over the other one. If you really like a newer one, and you're like, "Hey DM, can I have this one instead?" Because it's like just better. Let me take a look at it really quick.
Gotcha.
I'm okay, but legacy is just easier because that's the one I kind of already know.
Okay.
I'm not going to be like a grinch about it if there's like a really cool non-legacy spell that, especially if it would be cool for your character.
Okay. Cool.
Well, it doesn't seem like I need help to get coin. So if you all want to head to see Sister Aradel and Kitlin, you have a previous engagement, you can head over there and I can go see Sildar.
That's right. Bernie, if you wanted more soup, you can come with me. Otherwise,
The last thing I want to think about right now is soup. I think that I'd like to go to pay a visit to this healer, see what she's all about.
Cool.
Is Pamela out front?
I think Pamela would still be at the stables at this point.
Cool.
All right, we're splitting the party. So Dominic, you're heading to Townmaster Hall.
Yep.
Hitland is heading to go see Milo, and the rest of you are going to go see if Sister Ardell is home.
Yes.
All right, you all step out of the inn. Dominic, you start making your way south. Kitlan North, and you all make your way over, and you can actually see Sister Aradel attending to her shrine. She's out in the middle of the town hall, or in the middle of the town square. Um, uh, and she's like lighting a few incense, and kind of just like saying a small prayer and just kind of having like a meditative, reflective moment to herself at her shrine. So yeah, we'll start with you guys as Dominic and Caitlin kind of break off and go tend to their tasks.
Good morning, sister. I hope you're well.
She doesn't acknowledge you right away. You see, she kind of takes a
Oh.
moment to finish whatever. Like,
Yes, let's say that Staris waits for a moment instead of just interrupting her thoughts. See. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was like rude of Staris to do what she did. She just appeared to just be by herself.
Yeah.
But you see that she just, yeah, she just takes a moment to kind of finish whatever prayer she has before acknowledging you as you all approach, and smiles. And as she kind of gets up and takes a step towards you, the three of you are able to notice that she is kind of favoring her left leg and limping on her right one a little bit. And she says, "It's good to see you. Heroes of Delverton is what they all say. I received your note. How can I be of service?"
Well, we're looking for information, and I was hoping maybe you could do something about my arm. Um,
Well, let's start with the arm, and you can tell me more about what type of information you seek. If I know it, I'll do what I can to help. Um, and she kind of like says, "I have uh, more ingredients to work with inside. Please come in." And she kind of leads you into her small cabin. And it's like a small one-room home. You can see several more wooden figurines on various shelves. Um, these like small stone walls, kind of like packed with earth. Very simple made. It's a much more simple structure than some of the other houses that seem to be made with more like traditional like lumber and use of nails and things like that. Um, she has a small like hearth and fireplace. She has like a kettle boiling some water over a small bed of coals. More incense are lit inside, as well as like dried flowers and other, like vines and other like flora growing throughout the space. Gives it this kind of sweet, earthy tone. She begins to kind of like move your arm in various positions, finding like kind of like where it hurts and where it doesn't. And she's like, well, the best thing for it is rest. I can mend it and make it so that it can potentially heal a little bit quicker, but you'll need to rest and take your time with it for it to really do any good. Um, is that suitable for you?
I'll do the best that I can. Anything you can do for me would be so appreciated.
And she begins to kind of like wrap your arm up in like a sling. And as she does so, she just kind of talks to you all. She seems friendly. She offers you tea. Um, but yeah, what do you wish to ask of me? You said you sought information.
Yes, what do you know about the goblins in this area? We have reason to believe that Gundrick Rockseeker may have been taken in by the Goblin King.
I pray that's not the case. I can't imagine the danger he would be in if that were true. I'm afraid I don't know much about the goblins other than they're dangerous. They operate in clans, and lately I have heard rumors through the town and through the few visitors we receive that clans seem to be getting more aggressive, more emboldened. Some might even say more organized. First I've heard of a goblin king, though, I'm afraid.
Hmm.
Why do you ask?
Um, well, we're sure. Well, the hope is to find and rescue Gundren. Gundren.
Yes.
Do you think he's still alive?
They might all be
We're hoping
trapped
so.
in a spider's web.
Ku, roll me an insight check to see if Sister Aradel has any reaction to that phrase.
19.
19. Nice.
Nice.
Um, you see no indication that those words have any significance to her.
Wow.
Hmm.
Um, it sounds like quite a sticky situation, I agree. I don't know much, but I do know someone who might. And she kind of finishes up your sling at this point, Staris. Bernie, you've been kind of quiet. What are you doing this whole time?
I think I kind of want to look around the house a little bit more, but not in like a super obvious way, just in kind of like a just checking the place out like you do when you enter somebody's home.
Sure,
And
just like
then
taking in your surroundings, essentially.
yeah, taking in surroundings, and then also you mentioned that she had a limp.
Hmm.
Does there seem to be like a fresh wound or anything, or is it just kind of covered up or
Okay, cool. Make me 2 checks. First, we'll do a perception check, and then we'll do a medicine check.
okay? And is this with disadvantage because of exhaustion?
It would be if you're exhausted.
Okay, just checking. Oh, cool. Okay, great. So
Nice.
18 for perception, and then you said medicine check.
Yeah, to try to get a read on what's going on with the leg.
Just an 8. Well, let
Okay.
me roll it again, but oh, even worse. 6.
6. Perfect. So as you kind of take in the surroundings, you notice pretty much what I described. It all seems simple. The bed is made. With an 18, you can't tell if she's just like really organized and kind of clean, or if maybe it hasn't been slept in yet.
Mhm.
Um, you notice that she lives very simply. But one thing does kind of stand out as you just glance around her space. Near her bed, on like an end table, there's like a small pin, like something you would like wear on your cloak, like a brooch,
Mhm.
brooch. What you guys know
Brioche.
what I'm talking about? Yeah,
Yeah.
brioche, a
A
brioche.
brioche.
Um, like a pin, like a pin, pin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is in the shape
A
of a
brioche.
small golden harp.
Mm, okay.
Um, in terms of the leg, it is tricky because it is covered, so you can't see like a wound. There doesn't appear to be any like blood around like where her leg is covered that you can see. So it doesn't seem like there's like a fresh wound or anything. But
Mhm.
you do just notice as she walks that she is favoring one leg over the other and does seem to be walking with a slight limp. But other than that, you can't really discern much.
Okay.
She kind of finishes up your arm, Staris. Unfortunately, admitting she doesn't know much about the goblins, but implying that she does seem to know someone else who might. But as she says this, roll me an insight check, Staris. with disadvantage if you're exhausted. Can anyone else hear her? Am I just out?
No.
I
No.
can't hear Andrea.
7. Okay. Stars, can you hear me?
Oh. Oh, headset shenanigans.
Ugh.
Headshot shenanigans. Headshot.
Headshot.
Headshot shenanigans.
I
Get on,
wonder.
Shay.
Did I say headshot?
I'll be right back.
All good.
Okay, can
You-
you hear me now?
Oh,
Yay!
yeah.
Oh, hello.
We
How
brought
about
you back.
that?
I'm just gonna do earbuds because that's not working.
Nice.
I'm so sorry.
Let's see. Let me make sure it has this microphone.
You sound great.
Yeah, you
it
sound
actually
great,
Yeah.
sounds better.
Sounds
Oh.
a million times better.
Great,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Keep
All right,
doing what you're doing.
we'll just leave it at that then. Ha!
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, whatever you did works way better. I'm sorry that those headphones are so terrible.
No, it's not your fault. It's okay.
With the 7, there just seems to be like there's something she's not saying, essentially, but you can't tell what.
Like about the person she thinks that has more information, or
Correct.
okay.
There's like something. There's some tension in her words, but you can't get a read beyond that.
Hmm. Where might we find this person?
It's maybe a day and a half's travel from here, but I must warn you, it's not safe. Surely any information they have to offer you could find elsewhere. And now that you're asking more questions to talk about it more, Stars, you're starting to pick up that there's some fear here with this person they're interacting with. Perhaps I've said too much. Is there anything else?
We don't mean to intrude, but any information really would be helpful. And we know that you travel around a lot. You know this area. We're new here. We're just doing the best that we can. If you could just tell us where this person is, at least give us the option to go and talk to them ourselves or make the decision not to.
You really want to help?
More than anything.
Hi.
Stars or Bernie, I'll let you guys decide. One of you roll me a persuasion check with advantage because you're both kind of helping each other, but then with disadvantage because you're both exhausted, so they'll cancel each other out.
Panama.
Stars
Stars,
with the
would you like
18.
to?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
definitely get Stars to do it.
Okay, so Stars,
Jesus.
23.
Hey.
cough. She kind of sighs, gets up. She's finished kind of wrapping Staris's arm now. You're all just sitting there, and she goes to the kettle, pours herself like a small glass of tea, goes and sits back down, still limping, looks at you all. If you take the road back to Tribor Trail, follow it east. Day and a half's journey. A group you're large, probably. You'll find the ruins of an old town. Coneyberry, but that's irrelevant now. There's a specter. An undead. Who used to live there. And still haunts her old home. When I first, bless you, when I first met her, um, she tried to scare me off. It was by complete accident. Curiosity got the better of me, and I stumbled upon her resting place. Um, she tried to scare me off, but I chose instead to stay and to hear her story. Um, she was friendly and would tell me stories, and I thought maybe I could help her find some peace. Uh, Recently, she's turned more aggressive, or like something is possessing her, like something is causing her to act out. I I thought I could help her. I thought maybe she considered me a friend. But I was lucky to get out alive. She kind of like indicates her foot now at this point.
Hmm.
I'm
Oh.
okay, but I did not emerge unscathed.
Hmm.
If you wish to seek her help, know that she may not be willing to give it, but please, if you can, avoid her. She has already suffered so.
What's her name?
Her name is Agatha.
Is there anything else that you could tell us that might help us connect with her?
If you truly wish to seek her out, follow the Tribor Trail to the ruins of Coneyberry. If you continue following the trail that runs through town, it'll lead deeper into the forest beyond. As the vines grow thick and the moss becomes heavier, draping along the branches, the air becomes noticeably colder. You'll know you're nearing her spot.
Well, how should we recognize her or greet ourselves to her?
I'm afraid she may not wish to be greeted. She will probably do her best to frighten you all, scare you all off, maybe even terrorize or harm you.
Hmm.
If you can show her you aren't afraid, maybe you'll have a chance. But she has been so erratic lately, I truly can't know if for certain.
Hey. It's a great kindness of you to befriend a banshee. Where I come from, we hold those that speak with the dead in high regard, help them pass through.
If I'm being completely honest, a banshee can cause a lot of harm.
Mm.
My intentions weren't entirely selfless. I did wish for her to pass on so that this wouldn't happen. But I don't think she's evil. I think she's just in pain.
Right.
Well, if we seek her out, we will be very careful.
Good. If you can help her, if you can reach her, she does know a lot about this forest. I'm sure she could tell you what you need to know, but again, it won't be easy. And I imagine it will be quite unsafe.
Understood. Thank you for your help. Is there anyone else you could think of that might have information?
Roll me another persuasion check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
She kind of laughs as you ask this too to herself.
18.
18. So good.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm just gonna stop asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says, well, this may be less fruitful than speaking with Agatha. She kind of jokes to herself. There's a man who lives just outside of town. He has a small apple orchard. Darren is his name. Darren Eatermouth.
Oh, that's that mercenary
He-
dude.
He
Nice.
may have some opinions, and he seems like the kind of fellow who likes to stay informed. Just know, well, if I had to choose between getting stuck in a conversation with the raging specter of the woods or Darren, I would choose the specter.
Oh.
Oh,
Well,
Oh my.
shining endorsement. Yeah.
Darren Eatermouth, was it?
Yes, DARANEDER math, MATH.
Well, we'll just count that as a backup plan.
Yeah. Unless there's anything else you guys would like to ask of Sister Aradel.
Is she? Are you going to be at the town meeting?
I was planning on attending. It's piqued most of our curiosity, and I think a positive update would do the town good. So yes, as a community member, I would like to attend. In fact, it should be starting pretty soon, and it is getting kind of like within the hour away, as we can start to transition to Kitland. But before we do, Bernie, give me a history check. Unfortunately, with disadvantage, because thinking is a little hard after all the partying we did last night.
Ooh, that's a 2.
Oh.
Okay. Something about that pen, that small golden harp-shaped pen, seems familiar to you, but you just can't put your finger on. Ow, ow, your head hurts. Man, you could really use some water.
Yeah, I like go to open my mouth to like ask her about it, and then just get hit with a horrible headache. And,
Yeah. That like
we gotta
sharp,
start-
stabbing temple pain.
yeah, I think we should probably head that way. I'm gonna grab a little bit of water at the bar.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, same.
Do you have anything for Bernie's headache?
She like refills your tea and adds like a pinch of something a little bit stronger. And as you kind of sip on it, Bernie, your headache does subside a little bit. And start to feel a little bit better. Kitland, you make it to Milo's shop, and as you approach, you can kind of hear like the tinkering and banging kind of sounds from within his workshop, coming through like one of the windows of his home.
All right, how you going?
You kind of like walk around back and make your way into his little workshop, and he's got this kind of like bow up on this mount that's like clamped up as he's like doing some like the tiniest little hammer you've ever seen, like the hammer like the doctor uses to check your reflexes, as he's like adding these like final little touches to this really small element to the bow. It's like, oh, you're just in time. I was just about to finish up. All we have to do is string it, and then we can take this bad boy for a spin. He's really excited. He finds himself getting kind of tongue-tied. Uh,
Baby bad boy. It's a great
baby
way
bad boy. You see, he's like engraved that on the side of the boat. Baby bad boy.
Oh my
It's a good idea. I was
Baby
thinking
bad boy.
around. You know,
Love it.
like
so
you just
good.
like I'm not like saying this is like a legendary like item or anything like that, but like all legendary items have a name. So I just figured if we gave it a name, it would. Anyways, it's a dumb idea. It's a dumb idea.
Right, I love it. You've done a great job, baby bad boy. All right,
And the bow has been finished.
good crack.
And as he kind of finishes it up, he leaves you to like restring it. Hands it to you as you get the bowstring and bend it and do the work that needs to be done to get the string on it. And you kind of examine the work that you've done on it. Now, I had you and him both roll intelligence checks as you kind of drafted the blueprints for this prototype. So Caitlin, what I'm going to tell you now is that when you both rolled, you got what I'm calling a mixed success. You did not fail it. You did not get the best you could possibly get. But it was kind of somewhere right in the middle. Ooh, weird echo. But it was kind of somewhere like right in the middle. So he gives you this bow, and as you examine it and look at it, you see that it's got like the little trigger, like flip mechanism, like you imagined. I don't have the stats for it in D&D Beyond yet. They are coming, but essentially this is how it works. You use your bonus action, ignite one of your greased arrows, so that when you attack, it is already on fire. So this will effectively use your bonus action and your action to fire a greased arrow to make it catch on fire.
Oh, that's rad.
For flavor, can I just use my bonus action to like flip out the Oz clip, and so that like as I shoot it, it's the arrowhead hitting the flint that creates the spark.
That was
like it's in action, instead of like lighting it while I'm still holding it.
Right, that was like the idea. Was like that's the bonus action. Is that it kind of requires that little extra amount of focus as you fire it. That's like your bonus action. Yeah, flicking that like igniter to like do it as you release it.
Cool.
So yeah, flavor it however you want. So you can fire. So you've been keeping track of your grease arrows. Now, if you just fire a grease arrow without using your bonus action to light it, then it operates like a grease arrow, right? It gives them vulnerability to fire on the next attack that hits them with fire. Or you just light it and fire it, and that will deal an additional 2d6 fire damage.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
cool.
That's
Wow.
You can only use your bonus action to like do it for like one. So if you get like 2 attacks for your action, you'll only get to do it for one of the attacks. If that makes sense. So you can
say that one
fire.
more time. I was typing.
So like as you level up, you'll eventually be able to attack like 2 times per action. With this bow, because it uses your bonus action, you could light one of those attacks, but not necessarily both of them.
Gotcha,
So like in the future, as you level up, it's like, okay, I can one and then still get another arrow off, but yada yada. Yeah. Which I feel like I'm already regretting, because then you could like hit one with just a normal grease arrow and then light the next one to like capitalize on the first one. But fuck it, we're gonna play with it, and if it's too broken, it's too broken. Everything is fire resistance. And that's higher level, so we'll worry about that when we get to it. And then the other thing is we're also playing with misfire rules, because this is like essentially kind of like a firearm. This is like a new thing, so this can break when you're using it.
Okay.
Because you've rolled a mixed success, it has a 20% chance to break on operation. So if you roll a 1, that's obviously like a critical miss, right? If you roll a natural 1 on a d20. However, if you use your bonus action to fire this thing, and on that shot, the one that uses the bonus action, if you roll a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, it is considered a critical miss, and the mechanism will break until you can repair it.
Okay. And then what happens with that shot? Does the arrow also...
That shot will be
Yeah.
a miss. A 1, 2, 3, or 4 will be considered essentially a critical miss, regardless of what the modifier brings it up to.
Okay.
So high risk, high
but
reward.
yeah, I mean that should be impossible unless I get a nat 1, right?
Well, it's a nat 1, a nat 2, a nat 3, or a nat 4. That's what I meant by a 20% chance to like fail.
Gotcha. So even with my added shit, it's just
Right.
the roll. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. But only on those like bonus action attack, not every roll, right? So if you're just using it as a normal bow, it's just a nat 1 is a nat 1, but I'm not going to do any of that other stuff.
Okay.
Cool.
Gotcha.
That's rad.
All
I like
right.
that.
You've done great work here, Milo.
Well, I
Have
really,
you,
really hope you like it. Do you want to like take a test shot? I got some hay set up in the backyard.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, cool. Yeah, roll an attack roll. With it.
All right, I'm
and
gonna
use one of
flip
your
it out.
grease
Yeah,
arrows.
and I'll use a grease arrow.
That one. Let's go.
I know. Immediately breaks it.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
The arrow, like, it works beautifully. You flick the trigger right as you release, and you see the greased arrow like slide like cleanly across the bow and ignite just as it passes where that little mechanism is, and just torch up as it goes sailing into like the bales of hay that he has piled up kind of like in this open field in the middle of his backyard. And as it hits the hay, it just boom explodes. And you just see he's got this like devilish grin from ear to ear. It's like, I put lantern oil inside of it too. And just absolutely like leaves this like smoldering crater in his backyard.
Pyro after Kitlin's heart.
Oh my
The
god.
bow
Right.
appears to work,
Awesome.
but go ahead and remove one of your grease arrows from your inventory.
Yeah.
And you have this functioning bow. I'll try to make something that can like track everything in D&D Beyond, but I need to figure it out first.
Okay.
Very cool.
All right.
That's
Well,
so
high
rad.
five there, Milo.
High five.
And then I will give you a. Well, I've not forgotten about the 25 that I owe you.
Kind of like scratches the back of his neck. Well, I do appreciate it. I worked really hard on it. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I will give him 25 gold.
He takes it. You have paid this man's salary for like the next 3 years. And let me know if you ever have any other crazy ideas. And shakes your hands, and you take off to go
Right.
meet
Do
him.
you know, before I go, do you know of any other blacksmiths in the other towns around here? Just in case I run into any trouble.
Well, the nearest town is Tribor, but hell, I think it's a shorter distance back up to Neverwinter, where you've got plenty of, everyone from simple blacksmiths like me to mastersmiths that make all kind of crazy armaments and armors. But yeah, Neverwinter, easily your best bet.
Right. And do you have the notes on the design that I could carry with me?
Yeah, you want the plates? Sure, let me grab them. And he goes back to his workshop, and you see he's got like a ton of shit everywhere. He's like, I left them somewhere over here. And after a few minutes of rummaging through all this stuff, finally finds the prints he was working off and rolls them up and hands them to you.
Awesome. Well,
cool.
Great work, Milo.
Well, thank you so much. And again, pleasure doing business with you. And I'll see you later.
All right. Say hey to your wife.
This NPC has run out of dialogue. Cool. And you get your bow and you go to meet up with everybody else. Dominic, you make your way into Town Master Hall. It's pretty busy as they're preparing everything for kind of the town hall meeting. As you make it to the building, the first thing you notice is a horse. A dark horse with like spots of like white on its neck and back and like running down its hind legs. Thick dark mane. On its saddle you see there's kind of like a red and purple kind of blanket like underneath the saddle with like a little bit of gold trim, just very eye catching, and several kind of like um, charms kind of like woven in to parts of the saddle. You see several kind of saddlebags along the side that seem pretty full. Like this horse is packed for a long journey. Um, as you walk into the townmaster hall, you see, like I said, it's a very busy scene. A lot of the clerks are, scribbling furiously again. You see there's a large pile of gold on one of the tables that's being counted out by several clerks and like inventoried. You see Mateo sees you, um, goes inside the office and goes back to his desk. And as you walk kind of down the hallway, you see Sildar come limping out, followed by Harbin, and the third person. You see a woman. She has kind of like light brown skin. She's got like reddish, darkish, thick, curly hair that's like pulled back into like a large kind of bun and tied up with a long red sash that kind of runs down to about halfway down her back. She's got like a white kind of like loose blouse on with another like red and leather sash around her waist. You see she's got like some leather pauldrons on her shoulders, leather bracers. You see a long rapier at her side, several daggers around her legs. You see strapped to her back is a crossbow. You also see several bottles and vials and pouches tied to her belt and to her vest. She wears these like long dangling gold hoops in her ears, and has several necklaces and rings and several pieces of jewelry with a lot of color and gold and silver to them and various precious stones. The most eye-catching thing about this woman is that her left leg, from just above the knee all the way down to her foot, is not made of skin and bone and muscle and flesh, but of mechanical clockwork gears made of silver and steel. And you see she walks on this clockwork, almost animatronic leg as easily and gracefully as if it was her own. And Sildar says, Dominic, I'd like to introduce you to a very good friend of mine. This is Esmeralda d'Avenir. Esmeralda steps forward and extends a hand. Charmed to meet you.
I'll stick out my hand and shake and say, "The pleasure's mine, madam."
As you take her hand, Dominic, you notice on the back of her palm, on the back of her hand, she has a tattoo of an eye. It's kind of a stylized eye. A stylized eye that you've seen before.
I'll kind of hold her hand a little bit longer, staring at the eye, like kind of awkwardly long.
She kind of pulls her hand back as you do this. Yes, well, Sildar, like I said, I can't stay for too long, but I'm curious about this town hall meeting you're presenting. He's like, well, I won't be the only one presenting. In fact, I believe Harbin will be doing most of the talking, as he should, as the town master. Dominic, I'm glad you're here. I have something for you. And he goes to the table where all the gold is piled up, and he grabs a stack and presents it to you. The stack contains 500 gold pieces.
All right.
For not only your service to the Lord's Alliance, rescuing me and helping us track down the man Yerno Albrook, you have done a service to this town, to its people, that, frankly, in my opinion, this does not even begin to cover. But I hope this shows you at least how much we appreciate everything you've done. And he hands you 500 gold pieces as your reward for everything you've done.
Sildar, this is Amazing, thank you. We appreciate it. I know that we will make good use of this.
I trust you will. In fact, uh, it makes it only slightly easier for me to ask that we rely on you even more as we continue to look for Gundren. Have you and your party come up with any ideas of how you intend to pursue him?
Well, I know the rest of the party went to go see the healer, and Kitland had a prior engagement this morning, but I feel like we may try to get to the next town, see if we can find any information from some of the town folk here before we leave. Do you have any information or anywhere that you could send us, maybe a starting point?
Well, I I don't know of any nearby towns that could benefit you. I feel like the goblin activity is mostly centered in the southern end of Neverwinter Wood. Um,
Well, even
it,
even ruins of anything that can give us some sort of
well, there is
information.
the nearby farmstead uh, to the east of here, but I, I don't know what you intend to glean there. I think if it were me personally, I would try to uh, ambush a small goblin hunting party. See what type of information I could discern from capturing and interrogating one of them. You already proved to be quite proficient with it with the Redbirds when they attacked us here. Um,
Aye, that is a good idea. Then goblins are probably a lot easier than red brands. I do want to know where Droop went, though. He was very skittish when it came to coming down to town. So I don't think he would have come through town to leave, and from the manor, there's no other way down except from there.
he could have attempted to scale the hill down the manor. It's possible he is maybe
Hmm.
waiting until you all left. Who knows why goblins do what they do? It's like you said, they're skittish. I agree. I don't think he would have come through town. Would have been dangerous, especially in the dark. Goblins aren't the smartest. Um, More than likely, he attempted to scale from the hill.
True enough.
You
All
could
right.
go look for signs of him, but if I were a betting man, I would guess he's probably long gone by now.
It's been hours at this point. Any kind of trace, you're right, would be negligible at best. All right, well, Sildar, again, we thank you. And you are heading to the town square right now. Is there anything that... What are we talking about at the town
Oh, we
square
have a few more
meeting?
things to arrange here, but mostly it was just a chance for Harbin here to address the town on some of the matters that have transpired these last few days. Um, Mainly, we wish to discuss how the Red Brands have affected the economy here. Some Lenine Greywind, for example, is considering closing down her shop. We want to address some of those concerns. Um, as you can see, we have quite a large amount of funds that we wish to invest back into this town. Namely, we want to begin a restoration project of the old manor, and turn it into a building that can be open for the public, and turn it into the new town master hall potentially.
Well, I know that the Lady Dindra and her son are back at the inn. We did save them from under the manor.
Another thing we wish to address, Lord's Alliance wishes to do everything they can to provide the Sleeping Giant Inn with all the support it needs financially and whatever else we can do in these trying times. Several homes were, stolen and damaged by the Red Baron staying here, so this will cover some of those repairs as well. We also wish to, want to build more defensive fortifications. I'm hoping that the Lord's Alliance will actually be sending some able-bodied men in the next day or two as well to help with some of those fortifications. And we wish to continue to um, allow the mining community to grow and prosper here, which requires some funding and aid as well. So,
Of course.
just a lot of the civic things that we wish to discuss with the town and let them know that we're thinking about them and we're thinking about their future and their prosperity, and it's time they heard from their leaders after so much tragedy.
Agreed. I think it is time, more than enough time, that the Lord's Alliance needs to come and step in and try and do some restoration around here.
Well, that's what we're trying to do. But yes, will you be attending, or do you have more other matters to attend?
Well, I believe the rest of us, I will probably attend just to get a lay of the land and see if we can glean anything else from any other strands to pull, as they say. But with that, I suppose I will let you get on with your day, and we'll meet you there.
Okay.
So
Well, like I said, we have a few matters to finish up here, but look forward to seeing you there. And he kind of immediately turns into Harbin, and they go back to debating and discussing some other political who's it, what's it.
yeah. I guess it's just me and Esmeralda now, right?
There's kind of a moment where you see, you kind of left alone together. She's. No, you first.
I'm sorry about earlier with your hand. I was just transfixed on the tattoo. It's lovely. May I ask what that is of?
It's from home. And she kind of like eyes you suspiciously. It's from my tribe.
Oh,
Thank you.
no worries at all. I've seen it before, and I was just wondering because I was trying to get my head wrapped around seeing it, and it's. I don't believe in fate, but it's fate that has brought you, I guess.
What makes you so certain I have anything to do with your fate?
I'll pull out one of the tarot cards, the one with the eye on it, and just kind of flash it real quick.
To clarify,
Or it wasn't the tarot cards; it was the covering on top. Sorry.
Correct. I don't believe there is one that has an eye on it, but there
I'll
was
pull
like a handkerchief that it was wrapped in.
Yeah, I'll pull the whole bundle out because it's still wrapped in the handkerchief.
She sees that, and her eyes get kind of wide for just a second, and then she kind of, catches herself, and she like gets really low and kind of grabs you by the arm and like walks you like towards the front door, like away from Sildar and Harbin. She goes, "Where did you get that?"
And so now she's frantic, and I'll just kind of put it away and just say, I woke up with it.
Woke up? What do you mean? Woke up where? Listen, whoever gave you that is very, very dangerous. I don't know what it is they want from you. I don't know what it is they've given to you. But if I were you, I would get as far away from that little handkerchief as I possibly could and forget I ever even had it.
Says the one who has the tattoo of the eye on their hand.
Like I said, it was from my family. You don't always get to choose who your family is, do you? Sildar. She kind of like says his name over your shoulder, and he like looks up. She says, "Sorry, there's been a change of plans. I'll have to leave sooner than I thought." And she looks at you. Seriously, forget everything you've ever seen regarding this symbol. I'll be in touch, dear. And she just starts to walk out.
Oh my. I need a puppy break.
Okay. I think that's a good spot to take a
Ooh.
quick 10-minute break. Go ahead and log off, take care of puppies, go grab a drink, do whatever you need to do. But I do want to say one thing you don't have to say if you need a puppy break. And that this might be a good time to remind you all that you may see or experience some NPCs from other campaigns. And just know that they're not always the same as what you think they may be.
Nice. Love that.
Heard.
Cool.
Cool.
Awesome. But yeah, let's take like a 10, 15-minute break. We'll meet back like 9:20ish.
Cool.
Cool.
Awesome. See you guys.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
What was Esmeralda's last name? I didn't get that.
D'Avenir. Lowercase d, apostrophe, capital A, V, something, 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 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Hello.
So yeah, lowercase d, apostrophe, capital A, V, E, N, I, R.
E-N-I-R.
It's French.
Bruh.
What's up, bruh?
What's up, bro?
Ooh, that one's
is-
interesting. I like that. Wow, 500 gold. What are you gonna do with your life now, Kitland? You have an extra 100 gold in your pockets, my guy.
All the inventions. I haven't bought a single thing this whole
Yeah,
campaign.
neither have I. I have
Well,
almost 200 gold in my pockets.
But it's because
Like,
I also missed the like the shopping episode.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang it.
you did miss the shopping episode, but also like you're kind of like not in a space where like you can really do anything fun with it. But then when you guys finally get to Neverwinter and you're all rich
Yeah.
as fuck, then it's like, oh, let's go buy a house and like a servant.
It's gonna be sick. Ball out.
You weren't like given one for your deeds.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. Dominic getting some ominous.
I know.
Ominous info from
Failed.
a random NPC.
I mean, you don't have to tell us that she gave you that gold, or that they gave you that gold.
Yeah,
You can keep
but
it all to yourself.
I
500.
could. But you also
Jesus.
knew that I was going to pick up the gold.
You
This
say,
is true.
Didn't have it.
Hi guys.
Well,
Yeah, the,
Good
the,
thing
the
I
writer
am-
never showed. Weird.
good thing I am lawful neutral. So
Hello, hello.
hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Now, if this was Zexian and he had a 500 gold, might not have told you guys. But that's just cheeky rogueness.
Cheeky, yeah. No rogues in the party, so
Yep.
no super crazy shenanigans so far. Well, I say that.
Yeah. Don't get Joe started, okay?
I think
Yep.
he already started.
I'm all for the cheeky shenanigans. Go for it. I just know my character probably won't do any of it. He was a military man. He's pretty straight and narrow.
For now.
For now. That is very true. We'll see what happens with the ominousness of his endeavors. Oh.
Right.
All right.
Okay. You guys eventually all kind of meet up wherever it is you designated to meet up. And it's approaching noon. People are starting to gather in the town squares. They're kind of wondering, what it is this whole thing is going to be about, and murmuring amongst themselves. You guys have been given a couple of different leads. But I'll leave it up to you to discuss and figure out what it is you want to do next.
Bernie goes and stands next to Dominic, Do I notice that he seems disturbed about something, or?
Dominic?
Yeah, he's lost in thought. He's wandered into the square, and he's just kind of there but not there. He's there in person but not. He's just thinking about something. He's lost in thought.
Okay. Bernie starts.
You do see
walking-
like a large bag of gold in his hand as well, though.
Right.
I see it went well with Sildar.
Hi.
Bernie. No, I was just doing the math of how much we all get. Sildar gave us 500 gold, so I guess easy math, we all get 100.
That's the most money I've ever had.
All right.
And I'll slowly start divvying out the 100 gold to everybody.
Good crack.
Anything else that Sildar had to say?
Yeah, there was he just told us that the Lord's Alliance is going to try to do as much as they can for the town and start being more of a presence. They have a bunch of extra funds to start divvying out to different places. They're going to bring it all up here at the town meeting. And there was another individual there, Esmeralda de Alvenier, who I guess was the one that dropped off the funds. And as Dominic says her name, he kind of trails off a little bit, getting lost in thought again.
You're
Roll me an
right there.
insight check.
Do an insight check.
Bernie, roll me an insight check.
10.
As he trails off, kind of like after he says this person's name, you notice, attendance enough to notice that there was something there. I think it's Bernie's like maybe initial reaction is that maybe he's like got a little crush on her or something.
Yeah.
Is I think kind of the vibe that you're getting though, that like, oh, she left an effect on you, huh?
Right. Someone we might be seeing again, or
I doubt that. She made it abundantly clear that she doesn't want to have anything to do with me.
Hey, well, we can't catch them all, can we? And Barney just kind of like gives him a slap on the back and starts to put my gold in my bag. Well,
Dominic's gonna go, yeah, you're right. Can't catch them all.
Oh, it's so good.
for the efficiency. And
Aye.
we went and visited the healer. Nice
yeah.
woman, a little. How would you describe her? Daughters.
I'm concerned.
Hey, that's
We
a
did
good
get
way
some
to put it.
information. We did get some information from Sister Aradel. She suggested, now hear me out, going to see a ghost.
Is it a
Is that it?
friendly ghost?
No, quite the opposite.
50-50 chance.
So, you want us to go after an angry ghost for information?
It's possible this ghost might know exactly where the Goblin King is.
Oh, well, that's intriguing.
It could
Is it-
definitely be worth a visit, at least.
But is it worth the risk? You're still not at 100%, right, Stars?
I mean, I'm doing a lot better. She was able to do something that would help me heal faster, but I still have to just time and rest.
Do you think it might be easier for us just to find some goblins and capture them and torture them?
That sounds equally hard.
Not really into the torturing bit.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Torture strong. Interrogate.
So interrogate. Is that torture?
My, I did.
Taxis.
It was a slip of the tongue. Let's just say interrogate, ask questions. I mean, you're good at asking people questions and befriending them. Maybe you could get something out of them.
Fair enough. Since we don't know exactly where to start, what if we aim for this specter? And if we happen upon some goblins before or
Okay.
after?
Wait. Now it's a specter. So now this is two different things. If we're dealing with a ghost, they don't have any magical powers. Specters, on the other hand, can do serious damage.
I kind of just grouped them all into the same thing, but maybe that was wrong of me.
Like, Koo, do you know anything about specters or ghosts from your reading?
I think I remember reading that certain aspects from their mortal beings can carry on into the afterlife.
Ooh, roll me an Arcana check.
So I have advantage on anything that recalls fae, fiends, or undead from hunters,
Okay.
my hunter stuff. So I figured with my hunter's bane, I should probably know a lot about ghosts
Fair
and
enough.
specters.
Why don't you each roll me an Arcana check? Because you'll both have kind of different areas of information that you're pulling from.
Okay. And I can roll at advantage because of my hunter's bane.
Correct.
I have to roll I have to roll disadvantage.
Yes, you do, which sucks. 'cause you just got a
Oh my
natural 20.
god, 27 would have been wild.
Dang.
I got a
That would
23.
be
Nice. So, Comic, you're correct in how careful you are with your language in naming these various undead creatures. In your worlds, a ghost versus a specter is a very different thing because that was ways of classifying and identifying various manifestations of undead based on their power. So, based on what you know, you are correct in assuming that language is important. However, you are unsure if Sister Aradel and even now your companions relaying this information back to you, if they're using these words interchangeably or if they're using them with the same meticulousness that you have done in your day. Does that make sense?
Yes, from Bernie's comment of, well, I just grouped them all together. Now I'm concerned that we don't have all the information.
So
and I'll relay
it could
that
be
to them and be like, from my training, I've known that they classify undead based on power levels. Ghosts are closer to skeletons, where shades and specters are closer to the other end of like mages having magic powers when they were alive. So if we're now talking about a specter, they're closer to a shade, which is considerably more powerful than a just normal undead. That's the training that I was brought.
Yeah, Dominic.
Spectre. However, she said if there's a chance that we can prove to the specter, whose name is Agatha, that we're not afraid of her, there might be a chance we can actually communicate with her.
Agatha, you say? Did
Agatha.
she mention where this specter was?
If we follow the Tribord Trail, we'd be looking for the ruins of Coneyberry.
Ooh, the ruins of Conyberry. Isn't that where the amulet is that the old wife at the new inn was talking about, right?
She was
I
talking
believe that
about
was the
Rainy
place-
Hollow.
Aye. I'm not sure if they're the same place or not.
Different ruins. A lot of ruins in our world.
Everything's ruined.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, well, those are two options. Is there anything else? Did we get any more information from anybody? Maybe somebody in town that we can get before we leave?
She did mention a Darren Adermath?
Aaron,
Adermath?
Eder,
Adermath? Yeah.
Isn't that
Adermath?
the old mercenary up the road that by the apple orchard?
Yes, she mentioned that, though. She also said that given a choice between between the two of them, she would rather choose Agatha.
I mean, to be fair, the lady who's never in town and is sneaking off into the woods is going to go towards the one with the specter. I'll probably go with a mercenary as I am an old adventurer as well.
You may have better luck, but that's all we found from Sister Adele.
That's good information. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. From my training, I don't want to deal with anything that has any kind of superpowers or powers in general that can slip on a whim, and especially if what you're saying is she used to be friendly and is now not friendly to people that she knows. So 5 random people coming into her ruins to mess with her old stomping grounds, not a great way to start the conversation.
Right, but if anybody could do it, Star is sure they could.
Agreed. If there was
If we're going
anybody,
that way, we're going to start it gently.
as long as we're safe. And you guys get the feeling that Dominic doesn't really like dealing with this stuff. He's very on edge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I am partial to Staris's idea of heading out that way. Maybe if we cross some goblins, we can have a chat.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
they'll
on
more
board.
than likely try to ambush us on the way. We are going
Aye.
to be passing by the woods. And so if we try to keep 1 or 2 of them alive, if they attack us.
Right.
Ask questions first.
Right then. Should we go to this town meeting?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm curious about it.
Okay. All kind of see that a large crowd has now gathered here in the town square as Harbin and Sildar finally kind of take center stage, quote unquote, and begin to address the crowd. You are mentioned, and in fact, seeing you in the crowd, you're asked to to come before everybody, as Sildar and both Harbin speak pretty high praises of not only your character but of your deeds. You see most of the crowd, cheers you guys on, cries of, heroes of Delverton and long live, heroes and things like that as people kind of cheer and celebrate you all. And then Harbin goes on to kind of explain like the next steps. Talks about the money that's come in, the efforts to rebuild Tressender Manor, the work that's going to bring in, and the wages that they're going to offer for any able bodies to help with a lot of the work and tearing down the rubble and things like that, and in ways that they're kind of investing back into the community. And it's kind of like a long, like a town hall, like something out of Parks and Recreation, kind of a moment. Eventually leads to a Q&A where a lot of good concerns are brought up. The proprietor of the Lion Shield Coster, Lenine Greywind, who Kitlin met on his first day, she talks about how she plans on closing down her establishment. And there are a few other merchants that have struggled because of the raids on supply runs. And eventually the talks lead to the town potentially buying that property from them, And so, at the very least, not going home empty-handed. And there seems to be some agreements made, and the overall thing seems like there's still a lot of work to be done, but it's generally received positively. And the meeting goes on for quite a few hours. It starts to lead into late afternoon. Um, um, yeah, unless there's anything you guys would like to do or interact with this proceeding in any way, it kind of just carries on. Um, at one moment, Dominic, I think you would spot Esmeralda like leaving town on horseback,
Mm-hmm.
like during kind of near the beginning of the meeting. Um,
And I'm
but
guessing she's heading
otherwise,
towards Neverwinter, right? Going back that
you
way.
see her going out like the north entrance of town, which leads back to the Tribor Trail, which will eventually lead back to um, the main road. But you have no way of knowing, what direction she's going,
Mm-hmm.
because you're kind of way out in the sticks here in this community. And then to the south, that kind of leads into the more rugged terrain. That's where a lot of the miners go out to try to try their hand at prospecting. Um, no, she definitely went towards the road, but again, you have no idea what direction she would travel, unless you follow her.
I would like to pull aside the woman who's talking about closing shop.
Okay. Yeah, Lenine.
And yeah, and just let her know. Right, so we were with a goblin that ran off, but
Huh?
we found a whole bunch of armaments and swords and crossbows, things of the like, that he dropped down in a ditch right up at the top of the hill. You might want to go look and see if you can find you something to sell there. You might not have closed after all. There's no way he could have carried it all himself.
Roll me a persuasion check as this woman just stares at you with a very confused look on her face as you just told her that a goblin you were traveling with found a bunch of weapons that he threw off a hill into a ditch.
No, no, it's true. I saw it.
um,
That's a
oh,
dirty
nice.
20.
Nice.
Hey. You see, she's like just almost in shock at like the amount of information. Like that's like the wildest thing that a normal person would hear in this world. But you see that she just kind of processed. She's like, well, how high was the hill? I guess if you're not too messed up, I could maybe recover some. You think it's still? Can you show me where this was?
Sure, yeah. Have you got a map?
I mean, no, but like, you can walk over there.
All right, yeah. I think we can take you over there. Is that all right
Cool.
with the rest of you?
I'll come. Says Staris. She's like wanting to help in the situation.
Cool. Yeah, we'll say Dominic, Koo, and Bernie are kind of lost in the crowd as the two of you go walk with Lenine to kind of show her where a lot of this stuff was, where you last saw it. And it takes you about 20 minutes or so to kind of walk out and around over to that spot, and maybe a little longer. And as you get there are still some weapons scattered about. Several of them are broken. You can see where blades got chipped as they tumbled down the hill, or like parts of them got broken or bent. Crossbows definitely dinged up, some of the finer mechanics of them. Every now and again you find one that appears in decent shape. But it definitely does look like it's been picked over.
Hmm.
And so while you're right, he couldn't carry all of them, it does look like there have been signs that Droop had returned and got some of the better ones in the middle of the night. while you were
Do I
all
see
partying.
any tracks, like where he might have left from there?
Roll
Like
me
tracking?
a survival check.
Nice.
And you are not hungover.
I am not.
You got that. You got that old man like powering through it.
Yeah. And 11. Hold on though. I might have some features and traits. I am an unsurpassed explorer and survivor, both in wilderness, dealing with others on your travel.
Features and
Um,
traits.
Deft
Features
explorer.
and traits.
Da, 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 da. Yeah. Okay. 11.
With an 11, you're able to intuit more of what happened here. You're able to see like places where weapons kind of laid overnight and now aren't there, and you're able to see more signs of how this site was interacted with. You can find various places where you can see where Droop traveled, and you can eventually see where it begins to leave and the path he takes leading out of town. But eventually you lose the trail as you start to get further and further away. So with an 11, you're able to basically intuit that, okay, he came back, he took what he could, and I can see kind of where he started to drag some stuff off. And we'll say you even find like 2 or 3 weapons that maybe he discarded as it was like a little too heavy. You find like a long, like a great sword, like a massive like bastard sword, and you find like a flail and like a battle axe that he kind of like tossed to the side as you follow his tracks some more. But yeah, like I said, you eventually lose where the trail goes and can tell that he just kind of wandered off into the woods somewhere.
Do I see like any personal effects or clothing or anything that like got ripped or torn of his?
Be one more survival check as you kind of come to the end of where this path led and retrace the steps where you find the weapons.
13.
We'll say you find, you remember like the bed sheet that he had grabbed to like roll and tie up to carry as much of these weapons as he could. It's not a part of his clothing, but you do find a little piece of that bed sheet, like a thin strip of this white fabric that got torn in some like brambles.
Okay.
But that's what you find.
Okay. Without touching it, I would like to try to pick it up with like my short sword and put it in one of my leather pouches.
Yeah, I'll say you can stab it with a dagger and collect it without putting too much of your scent on it.
Okay. And then did the sword that fell on the ground, would you say that has like a leather like grip on it?
Between the 3 items, there's some leather components.
Can I cut like a small piece of that off also and put that in the same pouch?
Sure.
I've got a dog back at camp that I might want to smell some of this shit.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, you collect some components from the weapons, and you find this little piece that got torn off, and you're able to collect them and store them in some leather pouches.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But otherwise, no further sign of Droop as you guys kind of explore the area. Staris, you're kind of stuck back with Lenine, and you can tell that she's like, this isn't enough to. She's like, this isn't worth the effort to carry it back for some dirty weapons. I appreciate it, but this ain't gonna save my store, honey. And she starts to kind of like head back to town.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, I guess.
Stars goes over to Kitlan's like, did you find anything?
It's a bit of cloth that I'm hoping Pamela might be able to get a scent off for our travels down the road. Don't want to be surprised by him or his pals.
That's a good idea.
Right,
I guess let's
well,
go back with the others.
let's do it.
You guys all meet up. It's getting kind of late afternoon. We'll say 2, 3 o'clock ish, mid afternoon. Um, and the town hall is kind of coming to an end. Some people are lingering and still kind of talking and digesting about what they've all heard. Some people are Harbin is hanging around as some people are approaching him and talking about some of the job opportunities that he's presented. One of the bigger announcements, sorry that I forgot to mention, towards the end of this town hall meeting, was that Harbin did announce that his role would be up for re-election at the end of the month. They wanted to take some extra time to try to repair some of the damage that has been done. But Harbin did kind of take some ownership of his role in the hardships and thought that it would be fair and best for the people to afford them an opportunity for someone else to take this role, which kind of caused like a much further and longer and in-depth discussion. He was asked if he would run again, and he said he didn't know, but would consider it based on how the next few weeks went.
Nice.
I guess so.
Democracy, fuck yeah.
Bernie, myself, and Koo stayed.
Yes.
It is. Do we see Darren, or have I heard the name Darren to see if maybe he's around here and we could chat with him before he goes back
Roll
to his archer?
a perception check as you look around.
Oops. Not. Well, let me just redo that because I did it with advantage by accident. Well, we'll go with the 8. So.
Okay. You look around. You don't really have a description of this guy, but you kind of look around for someone who you might assume to be a retired adventurer, a retired mercenary, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see appear to be common folk. You do spot with an 8, however, Sister Aradel in the crowds. You spot several other familiar faces. You see the Stone Hills are there. You see that Myrna showed up. It appears Nara stayed at home. He might be a little too young for this. You see, just like several other people you recognize throughout the town. But you're not able to spot who you think might be Darren, even now.
Okay. All right. Well, what's the plan? Are we gonna spend one more night here and then head out first thing in the morning, or what do we want to do?
I could use a little rest before we get back on the road. I'm really not feeling myself.
I mean, from last night, it was pretty rough.
I can't believe how chipper you are. Sleeping in a hole like that out back.
Yeah, impressive.
I just felt in my element. Like it was safe. I don't know, it was weird.
Power in the hole?
Power of the hole, indeed. Well, I suppose we can take one more night and rest, and hopefully, Staris, you'll be back to 100% tomorrow with your arm. And
We'll see. It's one day at a time. But I did not sleep well, regardless of staying out of your shenanigans.
Staris, before you go to bed, can I take a look at your arm?
Of course.
I'm gonna try to find Sildar again. I want to chat with him before tonight. But you can go ahead.
I would also like to accompany you, Dominic.
Okay.
Oh. And Bernie, you wanted to look at Staris's arm?
Mm-hmm. Just kind of
Okay.
like before we like bed down for the night, but
Sure.
but I could also do that. Like we could do that now too, if that makes sense. Like go into the giant inn or whatever.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you guys are just kind of taking it easy for one more day, so we can kind of do any kind of like tidy, tying up loose ends, clean up step, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
In any order. But let's start with, I guess, Ku and Domit visiting Sildar. Do you guys want to try to see him as he's hanging out at like the town hall, or are you waiting kind of for that to die down and catch him more later in the evening?
I guess is he at the town hall? I'd basically be waiting for him to be kind of winding down with everybody else and probably heading back.
Okay.
And catch him on the way back and just walk with him back to the town master hall.
Got it. So that you kind of like wait to like the very end for everything to die down and clear out. We'll say that would be like around 5, 6 o'clock, like somewhere
Sure.
around there, as the last few people finally leave, and like Harbin and Sildar kind of share this big sigh. Like Mateo's there as well, just exhausted. A few of the other clerks have already gone home. You see they're kind of shaking hands and kind of starting to walk back, kind of that way. And
Yeah.
Sildar sees you waiting, and like they go ahead, and you guys have like a moment where you linger back in the town, and it's kind of just the three of you now. After the air still has this kind of energy, this electricity in it, from the group that just gathered here and all of the discussion and tough conversation that's just happened. So there's this kind of buzz, this adrenaline.
Mhm.
But it's weirdly quiet now. So there's this like interesting juxtaposition between that feeling and now this stillness, as it's just the three of you standing alone in the square.
Sildar, I want to say again, you're doing a great service to this town. I love to see what's going on and would love to see you when we come back through.
Oh, these people, I mean, we have to give them credit. They've been through hell and back. They've been very strong. They're survivors.
Agreed.
But we do what we can to help. And it's good to see them coming together, even after so much tragedy.
I agree.
But what can I do for you?
I had a quick question about Esmeralda. You said you're an old friend of hers. Where does she
Well,
hail from?
She has done some work with the Lord's Alliance in the past.
So she's not a part of the Lord's Alliance, I assume.
No, she, I think, would consider herself more a consultant, freelance contractor, that sort of type. She is very, very capable. Uh, well, she's a monster hunter, and quite good at her job. We have benefited from her knowledge on more than one occasion, and she was in town, and the timing worked out, and is probably one of the more capable writers. So, someone of her skills, the task suited her.
Agreed. She seems to be one that doesn't like to talk about herself or anything about her past.
No, she's not too interested in that stuff, I'm afraid. She's very much a woman of action.
It did seem that way, yes. So I'm assuming you know nothing of her past, where she hails from, or any of that.
I know what little she has deemed it worthy to let me know about. And she has trusted me to keep that information private. I'm sure you understand.
Yes, I do. I was just enamored with the tattoo on her hand, and she said it was from her
Ah.
hometown. And
Huh.
so I was just wondering about it. I'm one that likes to learn about old history, as does my friend here, Ku. Right, Ku? The eye. I didn't tell you. Did I tell you about the eye tattoo that was on the back of her hand?
Oh, no. No, you did not.
Um. So. Um. I'll pull out the tarot cards with the wrapping with the eye on it. And it was like this tattoo. It was a tattoo of this symbol right here, actually.
Yes, I've seen the tattoo. This is quite an interesting item you possess.
I have been told that, and I'll put it away pretty quickly.
Uh-huh. Are you able to read them?
I have tried, and I get smatterings of visions, but nothing concrete.
Well, your curiosity in Esmeralda certainly makes a little bit more sense now. I don't need to pry. Your past is your past, but if you possess those, um, then I feel obligated to share maybe a little information with you. That eye you saw on Esmeralda's hand, and the one on your handkerchief. It is the eye of the Vistani. Do you know anything of them? I need you both to make history checks, please.
Okay.
Uh,
17.
your
21.
exhaustion has all ended. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's been long. It's been long enough, and you haven't really done anything arduous. Excuse me, arduous today. So you guys can remove your level of exhaustion for those that have it as your hangover. Finally, since
Yay.
Well,
That
yeah.
immediately went away.
I'm not hungover. I just had bad dreams.
So I rolled a 21. Koo, you rolled a 17.
I did.
okay. Comic. Even with a 21. No, hold on. Okay, let me think about this. Good, we'll start with you. You have heard rumors of the Vistani. Two, you have an interest in, let's call it geography.
Mhm.
You like to know where things exist. And sometimes the answer to that is a little complicated. The Vistani, or as they are sometimes called, although this is a bit of a slur, Mistwalkers. They have an ability to places that some people can't. Specifically, it is rumored that these people have the ability to travel back and forth between the Shadowfell and the material plane. Some even believe that this gift has been given to them by a very dark and powerful entity, causing them to be feared and mistrusted in a lot of communities. Comic. You know the name Vistani, not as a name of a people like who knows it, but as like an actual surname.
Oh, like a family.
It was a family who were elevated in status. They weren't like a wealthy family. They weren't like nobility or anything. Not that that really existed. I'm trying to think. I gotta make this lore tie in with your lore. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys.
You're
Oh,
good.
you're good. Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah.
There was a general in your war, Dominic, and you haven't thought about this general in a very long time. You don't remember much about him because you didn't really know much about him, to be fair. But this general was very powerful. This general, like a lot of generals in your war, wasn't normal. Power. As some of the generals in your war did. A lot of kind of dark powers. You know what alliances you needed to make to fight the enemy you needed to fight. The Vistani were like a group of soldiers and attendees to this specific dark general. With a 21, all you remember is this general's name.
Okay.
And I'm going to type that name and share it to you in Discord.
Perfect.
Mm.
Secrets.
Secrets.
Just sent it to you.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm not even going to lie. The fucking second I sent that name to you, the pizza box lid just like opened on its own, and that's scary as shit. I'm not even kidding. Ooh, ghost, get out!
Oh, ghosts. Don't like it.
Spooky.
Yeah. And you guys want to go see a
Get out,
specter?
like-
Nah, I'm out, bro.
Yeah.
Out of my kitchen!
We're just the bachelor.
I invoked their name. I did this
Yeah.
to myself.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Oh no.
with that information, who you can kind of see if you look at Dom, you can kind of see him kind of the gears are turning and he clicks on something and his eyes go wide just for a split second and they go back to normal.
Mm.
Oh, Sildar, I appreciate you giving me that information. That gives me a lead. Thank you.
Hmm. I am glad I could help, but Dominic, I know it's hypocritical to say this to you, but not every question needs to be answered.
Now that you say that and the information you've given me, I'm leaning towards that as well. Esmeralda had the same thing to say under her breath before she left.
I trust you to do what's right. But if you need any help at all, my friend, please don't hesitate to ask. Now,
Yes.
if you'll excuse me, it's been a very long day. I think I'd like to go home and enjoy some brandy.
Yes. Get your rest.
Cool. He says his goodbyes and kind of leaves you two alone in the town square.
Might know a little more about the Vistani than you let on.
If it's the same people that I remember, this could be bad, but also good? I don't know. I need to do more research. And I know you are the one to help with the research if you want. Of all of our compatriots, I trust everyone. but I feel like I need to trust somebody else with some of my history to try to figure out what's happening.
Mhm. I don't think I quite understand, but I'd love to help you in any way I can. There's research to be done. We shall do it.
Nice.
Dominic, do you show who the cards?
Mm, who
Didn't you already show them?
it was
You
a
would have
quick
seen.
thing.
Oh yeah.
You would have seen him pull out like a deck of cards, basically covered in a handkerchief.
Mm.
And on the handkerchief, you would have seen a stylized eye.
Mm.
But I think that's all you would have had time to really see. You couldn't see
It
what
was
the
it was a
cards
very
looked like.
quick pull out, put back in my
They were
pocket.
larger than your average playing card, like maybe twice the size of like a playing card. And they seem to be about like a stack of 40 or 50 or so cards,
Um,
from what you could tell.
Who I know this is a little forward of me, but I don't want to tell you everything in the open. I would feel safer if we were in your room or my room at the inn and discuss things in private.
I understand. Yes. For I might have news or an inclination that I would also like to share, but privately.
Who, as you're having this conversation with Dominic, the stars that are, well, it's not quite that late. It's like 5, 6 afternoon. Um, just the sounds of like the birds and the wind around you and like the buzz of town in your periphery. Uh, it just creates this like kind of rhythmic sensation that almost makes it hard to not focus on what Dominic's saying, but like you have to like consciously make the effort to like lock in. And um as all these sounds kind of resonate in your brain, it almost begins to sound like this rhythmic chanting, like almost like music in your head. um and as he talks about meeting later, it kind of stops and you like focus in and you're brought back to the moment. um And let's move over to Stars and Bernie. You guys wanted to take a moment to examine the injury a little bit.
Yeah. Do you want to go into the inn for just a second?
Sure, yeah, of course.
I've been thinking, Staris, and you know, where I come from, there's some really incredible healers that take on all sorts of restoration. And as these powers continue to grow inside of me, I feel like I just want to try something.
Um,
So yeah, we're just gonna like go into the inn.
I trust you.
I appreciate it. And hopefully it won't, lop your arm off or something. That would be bad.
Oh, yeah, no, that would not be good.
So anyways, yeah, so Baron's just gonna like kind of go over to the side and sit down at a table. And if Staris will like pull her arm out, she's gonna gently kind of hold it and focus for a minute and think back to the warm light that she's so familiar with. Just let me know if this hurts at all. I don't think it should.
Okay.
All of the magic that we use comes from a tree that stands, a willow, in the middle of our temple. It's a warm light, a healing light. And I believe it's in all things. And I'm going to just cast Lesser Restoration
Okay.
on Staris's arm. I don't,
Okay.
yeah. So there's just, so Bernie like lightly places her hands around Staris's arm and and she closes her eyes for a second, and a soft, warm light begins to kind of come and flow out, and almost like veins crawling up Staris's arms, like glowing veins that it kind of lights up and carries along her arms.
That tingles.
Mm. Like spreads like roots, like climbing vines almost as you see the light like radiate inside of Saris's arm, and you close your eyes, Bernie, as you focus on casting the spell, and as you kind of like open them again, you're no longer in the room with Staris. You find yourself like transported, um, and you find yourself in the middle of this forest.
Mm.
And it's beautiful. Just these lush trees, the ground cover, all these wildflowers. Um, and ahead of you, you see this willow with these bright, glowing, flowering buds all over it. It's identical to the tree from your community. It's the same tree. And as you walk towards it, you see all of the forest around you beginning to wilt and die
Oh no.
and become barren as you approach the tree. And as you get to it and run faster to it, the rest of the forest just again just begins to almost disintegrate. Just nothing but empty, gnarled branches reaching up into a gray sky. And as you get to the tree, you see all of the lights flicker out one by one by one by one by one. And you jolt awake, and you're right there and holding Staris's arm as the last light on that willow flickers out. And you like let go of her arm just like instinctually
Yeah.
as you feel just all this energy power surging through you. And in this moment, Staris, your arm almost gets like hot with heat and then as she pulls away and then it begins to cool down. And as you like move your arm, Staris, it's fine. Your arm is completely healed. But Bernie, it feels like you just sucked all of the life around you wherever you were. And it was so easy. It was so easy, like you couldn't stop. Like gasping in air.
Did I hurt you?
Bernie, are you okay?
Uh,
I'm fantastic.
uh,
What's wrong?
I think I've done something horrible. I didn't mean to. Surely it wasn't my fault. I didn't mean to. And I think Bernie is tearing up and just kind of places her head down in her hands and holds her head and trying to get that image out of her brain. And she just tears kind of start to stream down her face.
No.
Uh,
Cyrus just hugs her.
And I think that she doesn't really like explain anything to Staris
Okay.
in that moment, but just kind
Sure.
of like leans against her and just tries like and just quietly kind of rocks a little bit and tries to get that image out of her brain and looks down at her hands. I don't know what happened. When I was healing you, it's like I saw the willow I told you about.
Mhm.
Something's happening to it, Staris. And I don't even know where to begin to heal it.
Well, if we can heal it, we will.
There has to be a way. And I'll kind of, like wipe the tears a little bit and sorry, just caught me off guard. Is your arm, is it okay?
It's amazing. Saras like flexes it. It's completely healed.
That's good. That's good. Just got to figure out how to do that without hurting anything else.
Kitland,
Yep.
what have you been doing this whole time?
I'm chilling, listening to this conversation.
Caitlin, I feel like you've just been hanging out in the stable with Pamela, just
Sure, yeah.
hanging out.
Having a chat.
I feel like
Pamela.
Bernie and Saris had a private moment, and I don't think you were around for Ku and Domic's meeting with Sildar. So you could have been at the inn, just relaxing.
Yeah, I'll pull out my leather pouches with the stuff I got from
Oh, interesting.
the cloth and give it to. Actually, I'll go ahead and speak with Pamela. Sounds like we're
Okay.
in a long rest, so I will use speak with animals. All right, Pamela. Do you
Hi.
remember the small little goblin?
Yeah.
Well, we might encounter him on the road. I've got some
Uh-huh.
pieces that might have his scent on it. Give it a sniff and see if you can pick anything up.
No. I don't want to smell a goblin.
All right, just give it a try. We don't want to be attacked or surprised.
You have any food?
Oh, I'll get you a good battery tomorrow.
Ooh, yeah, I want one.
All right, but you've got to smell this now.
No, give me a good berry first, and then I'll smell it.
Well, I haven't got one, have I?
Ah, fine, but I want my good berry.
I'll get you one tomorrow. We've got to
Okay,
ask
thanks.
Q for them.
Okay, thank you, Q. Thank you, Dad.
All right, here, give it a sniff.
Okay, let me smell this gross, stupid goblin.
And what
Ew,
do
ew,
you
ew,
think?
ew, 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 ew. Yeah,
We
I smell goblin. It's
all right.
gross.
If you smell this smell again, you let me know. All right.
Okay.
If he's close,
You want?
Right.
Okay.
you
You
just
want me
give
to
me
like
a
find
sign.
it?
Not right now. When we all head out, just I'll give you another sniff of it when we're on the road, and you just be looking out for that. All right.
Well, it's kind of fading, so it'll probably go away soon.
All right. Well, commit it to
It'll
memory
smell
then.
like a little bit. Okay, I mean, can I get 2 good berries?
I could probably get you 2 good berries. But
Okay,
that
if I
means
don't
you'll
get
be eating mine.
I might forget it if I don't get 2 good berries.
All right. I see what you're doing
Brain
here.
food.
It helps me remember, Dad.
All right.
Such a teenager. I love it.
I know. Total teen energy.
You gotta feed me if you want me to work, okay? God.
All right. Well, you eat your hay tonight. I'll be back in the morning, and we're
Okay.
going to be off. But
The
you need to
hay's
be
goats pee in the hay and it's gross.
well. You've got the other stable with no goat pee. If you want to stay there alone in a scary night.
No, but I like the goats. They're funny. They make me laugh.
All right. And quit your whinging, and we'll see you in the morning.
Okay. Are we staying here forever?
Are you not listening to me, Pamela? I said we're leaving tomorrow. You get
I
2
didn't
good
hear you.
berries.
I was thinking about the goat pee hay.
All right. Smell it one more time. Think
Oh,
about
Okay.
it. All right.
It
Enough.
smells really gross.
Good.
I don't think
Remember
he's
that.
bathed in a really long time. I don't think I've bathed in a really long time. Do I smell gross?
You're not great, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think the goats are not just peeing on the hay, are they?
I don't know. Okay, bye.
All right.
She runs back up to the stable. Remember to give me 2 good berries tomorrow.
I love it.
So good.
I love her. I love her so much. Pamela's the best.
Pamela's
Pamela
amazing.
Pamela seems to have a droop scent or whatever scent was left behind on the pieces you had.
Awesome.
But she does bring up a good point. The longer you wait, the more the scent will fade nearby, and the further you'll have to travel before she'll be able to find it.
Yeah. I guess like my goal was that if he's like sneaking up in the woods on us later on,
Got it.
not
Like,
not
if he comes
necessarily to
back
pick
to
up the
you.
trail. Yeah, just to remember that smell.
Copy. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think she would definitely be able to have a better chance of perceiving him if he
Sure.
could sneak up on you. Cool.
All right, so I'll go rejoin with the crew.
All right. Yeah, it's getting pretty late at this point. We'll say like 7, 8 o'clock. Sun's starting to go down. You guys have had a pretty full day. A little bit of time to recover. People generally seem to still, like and respect you guys and be grateful for you. The charm hasn't worn off quite yet. A lot of people are still talking about what was discussed at the town hall. A lot of people are discussing like the election and who might take over. Whether or not Sildar will. Some people are, kind of grateful for the money, but a lot of what the speech was about was how this is, the community. It's the community. It's been through it together. The community will thrive together, and the outside influence. Like some people are kind of wary of it. Some people are like, no, he's giving us money. It's great. So that's going back and forth. But yeah, the community is very engaged tonight. You have to pay maybe for a drink or two tonight. But nobody seems to be charging you for a room.
I guess Ku and I head back in and we just see Staris and Bernie. Bernie's crying into Staris' arms right now. And we're like, okay, what did we miss?
It was a quick cry. I don't think. I think it was a cry, and then she wiped her tears up, and now
I mean, you still got red eyes. We can still see the red puffiness. Go.
I'm high as hell.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm so high right now.
Crying is a free action.
Yeah,
as always.
Correct, as always.
And yeah, no, I think
Stars is
everybody
playing
had
her
their
lute
moments.
to soothe the moment.
Oh, we see you
Nice,
playing
yeah.
your lute because your arm is fixed now.
Look at this.
Bernie's like nursing a drink at the bar. Staris is performing. Hitland comes back a little bit after you guys, after spending some time with Pamela at the stables. Yeah, you guys are welcome to do what you want before taking a long rest. But I think it might be a good idea before we break for the night to figure out which path you guys want to pursue, as a few separate options have been laid on the table.
Well, it seems like the consensus is going towards the ruins and speaking with the specter.
That sounds like a plan to me. Staris, you'll be putting the charm on, and Ku. See if you can find anything in your books before we get there, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And check out my new gadgets here, and I'll show the group my my new bow upgrade.
Cool.
Oh.
It's looking
Genius.
good, Kitland.
Does that say little bad boy on the side?
All right. Well, every great weapon's
Little
got a
bad
name.
baby boy.
Little bad baby boy.
Baby boy.
Yeah.
Little baby.
Baby bad boy or whatever.
Yeah,
his name is.
little bad baby boy.
It changes.
Baby
It's
bad
got
boy.
it's got like a illusion spell on it. It's like
It's constantly
like
in
those
flux. Yeah.
those scrolling marquees you see on the back of cars.
You just call it the
Oh my
triple B from
God.
now on.
Baby bad boy.
So,
Little baby
Dylan
bad boy.
shows off his new bow. You
Don't know if
all
it's any good on a ghost, but you know, that's what we've got you guys for.
you decide taking the road towards the ruins of Coneyberry is better than just wandering aimlessly into the Neverwinter woods, hoping to run face first into some goblins. Both paths equally dangerous, but both paths necessary to take you to your intended goal. You kind of wind down for the evening and eventually retire to your rooms, ready to get a decent night's sleep after last night's festivities. You're welcome to stay up and have a few drinks and engage with the patrons if you'd like. Otherwise, you all eventually head to bed.
I'll probably go and knock on Koo's door.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm rooming with Kitland.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Brother,
Koo, do you want to finish our conversation from earlier?
Yes.
all right. Well, do you want me to leave the room?
I mean, if you're sleeping already, old man, we can go back downstairs.
The lights on, like they're clearly both awake.
Yeah.
Like they were in the middle of a conversation.
Well, I suppose. Excuse us, Kitland, and we'll get up and roll back downstairs.
Are you following him, Kitland?
No,
Their space.
I'm rolling my eyes there.
Yeah. Nerds. Alright, yeah, you guys head downstairs. There's like maybe a patron or two that's like nursing a late night beer, but it's easy to find a corner to talk amongst yourselves.
We'll just find a corner and. Yes, all right. I'm pretty guarded with this whole thing, so excuse me if I'm a little slow to get this started. Then I'll kind of just rub my hands together and just kind of get up the courage. This is not a side of Dominic you've seen before, where he's very timid and is like trying to find the words. I have no memory from before about 3 weeks ago. I woke up in a crypt, surrounded by bones and lights and dimly lit urns, and I just had my gear on and this set of tarot cards wrapped in this silk handkerchief, and I'll pull it out and put it on the table. The only thing I remember when I woke up was a sense of dread, a sense of adrenaline, that I have to be running constantly, that I have to be there should be something going on. The last thing I saw, glimpses of faces. I don't know friend or foe. Fire and explosions and that 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 that's it. That's all I remember. And now I'm getting smatterings of things every so often, and I uh I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know where I should be going.
Can only imagine that the weave has brought us here together. I think to figure this out, and not just us, you and me, but all of us. Bernie, Star, Kitland, everyone here in Delverton. The fact that we found Sildar, the fact that all of these pieces are moving just beyond our sight. Mm, I'd say that we're here for a reason, Dominic. But it probably would be wise to figure out where you're from. Or from when.
I think it's more so when I'm from than where I'm from, unfortunately. The one thing I remember is I was born during the time of the Dragon Wars.
Oh, well. That's a while ago.
Ku, that was several hundred years ago.
Yeah.
And
Yup.
the Dragon Wars themselves lasted for about 50 years. They were a tumultuous and apocalyptic time that literally brought about the destruction of most civilizations at the end of the Second Age. And it wasn't until, as the legend goes, Bahamut, the king of dragons, sacrificed himself in battle to Tiamat, the ancient queen of dragons, um, and thus ended the war. The end of the war shortly led to the end of the Second Age, and the Third Age, the age you all currently live in, the age of peace and prosperity, began. So Dominic just admitted to you that he is from the end of the last age, essentially.
So now I see why your nomenclature on undeads and spirits might be more pertinent and personal.
Yes. I was trained in the ways of monster hunting, but just wasn't a monster hunter.
You said you pulled out the deck of cards as well, Dominic? Is that
Yes,
correct?
I did put them on the table.
As you're having this conversation and as you make these realizations, Ku, you stare at the deck of cards that Dominic has laid on the top of the table. And as you stare into this symbol of this eye, you swear it's staring back at you. And you feel yourself just like drawn into it, just pulled into this eye, just unable to see anything else, to sense anything else as you are sucked in. And without realizing it, without having any autonomy over your body or its actions, you reach out and place a hand on the deck of the cards and cut the deck. And Dominic, you see this happen, and before you can reach up and stop him, he just reaches out and does it so cleanly and so smoothly. And Ku, you come back to, your eyes locked with Dominic, the deck cut. Dominic, do you flip over the top card?
Yes.
It's an image of a ghost. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well,
Things are happening.
Oh man! Oh, I love it.
Fun session, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
That was a great one.